I effed up. We all F up. That's part of the programming of the matrix. But I'm going to love myself no matter what. And I do have the ability to make a change.
Welcome to the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. We stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. Listen to your heart and soul's call, and we will encourage you to be bold, audacious, and devoted. Kim, Indigo, and Wind, helping you win by healing deep within. Only way to the Golden Age. Like, share, and subscribe today.
Peace and love, gods and goddesses. We are so excited to welcome you to another episode of the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. Yay!
Woo!
So excited.
Yes.
On this podcast, we guide you through our intuitive insights on releasing density of the 3D and expanding into the 5th dimension and the golden age.
Yes.
Today's episode, we're so excited to bring to you because we're going to be talking about dismantling the false matrix and anchoring in the divine matrix. We've already talked about what the divine matrix is. If you haven't seen that episode, we'll go ahead and link it. But on this one, we're going to go deeper into the false matrix so that you can identify the differences between divine matrix and the false matrix and how to release that. I'm the host, Indigo, and I am accompanied by my beautiful goddesses, Layla Wynn and Kim Positivity. And we're just happy to bring this episode to you. So let's get right into it.
So today we're going to always start, as we do with all of our podcast episodes, we're going to start with a candle ritual to light the fire. So everybody get their candles, and we're going to state our intentions or our desires. And I'll go last because I have a little treat with my desire.
My intention for our episode today is that we always continue to go back to our hearts, no matter if we're dealing with heavy jobs in the matrix, or we're out on the streets, or we're in the grocery stores, is continuing to always go back to our hearts, continue to have compassion, continue to have love and grace for our everyday today, our day-to-day daily tasks that we go out in the universe and do. So that is my intention for today, is that we continue to have love and compassion with everything that we do.
My intentions today is to remember that we are all students, and that as we bring these intuitive insights to you on this Golden Age Goddess podcast, remember to take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't, and do your due diligence to check out this information and go deeper into it for yourself. Don't just take what we say, but also go into it, look into it for yourself, see what resonates for you, and go from there. Remember, we are all students on this journey.
Yes. Oh, come on now, Indigo. That was on point. Yes. That has everything to do with dismantling the false matrix, okay? Discernment. Yes. Discernment with us, but not a skeptical discernment, but just like tune in. So I love that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So my treat, I'm going to go ahead and place my candle down. I had pulled some cards for the collective in terms of dismantling the false matrix. Yes. So I pulled some oracle cards from the animal deck, and 3 cards came out. So we're working with the powerful energy of 3 today. So let's start with the first one, Dove Spirit, be peace. So in order to dismantle the false matrix, first of all, we have to find peace within it all. Peace within the chaos, peace within the nonsense, peace within the drama. It doesn't mean that you have to accept the drama, but to return to your peace. So my desire and intention is that we all find peace within our lives, peace within ourselves. That is huge in order to help alchemize and shift out of the frequencies, the dense frequencies of the false matrix. So this is the Dove Spirit, be peace. So that's what Spirit has for us. The second one is Dog Spirit, be loyal to what you love. Woo, that's a big one.
Yes.
Yes. Be loyal to what you love. So, in order to get out of the false matrix, the false illusions of society, the false illusions of our life, we have to shift from being loyal to, things that don't really serve us, but we have to be loyal to what feeds our soul, what makes us happy, what expands our heart. And not only be loyal to what you love, be loyal to who loves you. That's also a big thing. Be
Yeah.
loyal to who loves you. That's what's also coming through very strongly is, when people are showing you love or whatever's showing you love, be loyal to that as well, but also be loyal to what you love, what excites you. And so the third one is the antelope spirit. Life is speeding up. So what spirit is saying is the more that we find that inner peace, the more that we are loyal to what we love, you're going to speed up into the divine matrix. Life, you're going to quantum leap.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We both on the same page. Me and
Yes.
we get it. Yes. You're going to
Literally.
quantum leap and timeline jump into, sorry, let's bring it a little further. There we go. Sorry, the glitching, but y'all get the point. We're going to quantum leap into the divine matrix. And by us taking that action, by us choosing, what I'm getting from that is decide that you want to live a better life, decide that you want to go after what you love, decide that you want peace, no matter what. And then you're going to quantum leap into the higher timeline. So that is my desire for us all collectively.
That is so funny that the dove came out because I have a little baby dove. A dove came and laid 2 eggs on my other tree now. First it was the hummingbirds, now it's the doves.
That's powerful. And I seen a hummingbird earlier today as I was sun gazing. So the hummingbird spirit is here as well, very strong. And that's all about being present. Thank you. And again, if you had your candles, please light it with us. Or maybe you already did. And again, even if you don't have the candle, remember you are the light in the world. That's the ultimate fire. Okay. And we're going to get passionate about what we love. And that's going to be the conclusion of all of this today, is to ignite that fire in the direction of the golden age, the direction of the divine matrix. So let's get into it. Let's get into these questions.
So the first one we have for this blessed day is, what is the matrix? And why is it real opposed to just a fictional movie?
I'm not sure if our viewers have watched The Matrix. I watched it when I was really young, and then I rewatched it, which I mentioned with you guys, shared with you guys, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago. And it was so insightful for me to watch it from these eyes, my current consciousness. The fictional movie of The Matrix had so many, hidden gems in them that really exposed or was able to share with us the truth of how the matrix really works, this false matrix that we choose to participate in, because it is a choice to participate in that matrix. And what we're offering here by showing you how to anchor in the divine matrix is another option, offering you a chance to question all of the programming that you probably didn't even realize you were programmed into, and to see something beyond, to create a new reality.
The way I look at The Matrix, the movie, if you ever watched it, or even if you didn't, please watch it if you do. It's more of a documentary to me. And of course, it still has that Hollywood theatrical, storyline. So besides all that, there are still, like Indigo said, a lot of hidden gems. And that's actually can be found in a lot of different movies, is they put a lot of truth in them and they hide it as fiction. Like, where are they getting all these ideas from? But what I love about The Matrix and what that has done to those of us on a spiritual path, on a spiritual journey, it helps us to realize that this world is really created through our consciousness. We are either consciously co-creating this reality, or we're unconsciously creating this reality. And most of us have a deep subconscious programming where we think, because again, subconscious programming, we've been programmed since we were children, programmed since we've been in the womb. We've been programmed even before we even were incarnated in this reality, so to speak. The reason why it is definitely real is because we're experiencing it. And again, we're co-creating it, whether we realize this or not. And that doesn't matter if we're experiencing a hard time in this matrix reality. The matrix is a simulation. It's a simulation. So if you think of like even the game The Sims or any type of video game, it's an artificial simulation, but we are still playing the game. We are still participating in this simulation. And if you even think about the movie The Matrix, if you ever seen it, they ask, take the red pill or the blue pill, right? And the red pill was the one that helped to see through past all the illusions, right? Then you get the opportunity to be able to see how that we control our reality and how we are playing this game. And also not only how we can control our reality, how we have not been in control, how we've been deeply programming, and how we've been almost in a way slaves to this matrix, slaves to the false reality, the slaves to the false illusions. But it's still real in the sense that we are experiencing that. It's also an illusion because we can shift out of that. So that's why the matrix is real opposed to an actual fictional movie. Because once you start waking up consciously, you start to be able to realize that you can shift out of that reality. Once you take your power back, once you take the red pill, metaphorically speaking.
What I recognized and what I felt when I was watching this movie is like seeing past all the illusions. And it can be such a mind shift to be participating in the false matrix. And when you wake up, it's like just reality shattering, you know, but it's always going back to your heart and going back to love. For me, and everything that we do and everything we consume and everything that we see and things that we participate in, it's like, it's just so in your face. It's so real because it's so in your face in regards to, we were talking earlier about chemicals that are in shampoo or chemicals that are in food, or, you know, it's so real because it's in your face of how much we are distorted and how much we are meant to be destroyed by the matrix if we let it. So for me, I've just been able, with my own experience, just observing, you know, everything that's in the false matrix and shifting my reality. So I've been able to experience it throughout my whole life with shifting that perspective from the false matrix to the divine matrix. So, I mean, it's everyone has their journey and everyone's going to be able to shift if you choose to shift and have the higher awareness. So that's why it's been real opposed to a fictional movie for me.
And and we can choose to shift out of it. You know, it's really all up to us. This reality is not all that there is. It's not all that there is. We're only seeing a small amount through the spectrum of our consciousness. A very small amount, not, even through the senses. Like there's a world beyond our senses.
Yes.
But once we wake up consciously, then we'll be able to tap into that higher dimensional reality. And that's why the matrix is very real in terms of it being an artificial reality that we have, again, unconsciously and subconsciously chosen to play in. And we're going to help you be able to realize that you can take your power back.
What's the biggest difference between the divine matrix and the false matrix that most people are living within?
You know, the thing is, going back to the divine matrix and then the false matrix, let's expand now. I feel like we definitely focused a lot on the false matrix. Let's expand on the contrast of the divine matrix. So the divine matrix is the original matrix. It's the source. The matrix, actual word, the original derivative of the word, the origins of the word matrix comes from the word matriarch, which means the mother, which also goes back to the womb. And you can look this up yourself if you're into etymology, as I am, looking at where the words come from. So when we're going back to the womb, we're going back to the mother, the divine mother. And again, there's a masculine aspect of God too, but we're focusing on the mother because specifically the matriarch the matrix comes from the mother because she's the creative force, right? She creates. So we can create from this womb space. We can create from this void space. It's the space of infinite potential. Infinite potential. And so we have created, and again, unconsciously and subconsciously, and again, from being tampered with by horrible false light entities, and that's a whole nother story. But from that divine matrix, you can choose to create heaven on earth, or you can choose to create hell on earth. And most of us are living in hell. And when I say hell, because look at what we're going through in the world. I'm not saying that all of us are, burning in some type of hellish fire and that life is just doom and gloom. But for some people in this, on this planet, for most people, we see they're suffering from disease. There's murders, there's rape, there's child sex trafficking, there's drug addiction, alcoholism in corporations, all of that. There's deviant behaviors. There's behaviors that are manipulative and to siphon off people's energy. So when we're looking at that false matrix compared to the divine matrix, there's none of that, because people are choosing love over fear. They're choosing love. They're back to their original beingness, the original light that we are all meant to be and who we really are on a soul level. But we're all coming back to that. So if we're still engaging in all of that nonsense and even participating, kind of like what even Kim was saying, even down to the shampoos, why is there toxins in something that's supposed to nourish your hair? Why is there toxins in something that's supposed to help your body, in your face or whatever? Even down to those simple things. That is the false matrix. In the divine matrix, it causes harm to none. Harm to none. Everybody is benefiting. Everybody is flourishing. Everybody is thriving. So that's the difference between the false matrix and the divine matrix, but it comes from within. You have to choose through your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotional state of being. If you work on those, then you're naturally going to magnetize yourself to experience heaven on earth, which is what the golden age is all about.
I was just thinking about the golden age. I'm like, the divine matrix is the golden age. Yeah, and that's why we're going through such a spiritual awakening throughout the whole world. Like people, there's so much disruption because people are awakening at a mass time now. For me, it's the divine matrix that's going to the golden age. And I believe in the episode that our last episode, when Indigo mentioned like what's going on right now is the manifestation of Master Jeshua and like his manifestation of the golden age. So that's why we're now awakening at a larger scale. So that's, for me, that's the difference between the divine matrix and the false matrix is dismantling all the false and going back to love, just like Gwen said. So just wanted to add a little bit of that. What it resonates with me was what Indigo said in the last episode, like it's the manifestation of Master Jeshua.
Yes, the embodiment.
Yes,
That's
embodiment. Yes.
Wind, I love what you said about heaven and hell and how we choose to participate either way, in either one. We can choose to create our heaven on earth, or we can choose to create hell on earth. And hell or heaven is a state of being within. And that's what we're talking about here when we talk about the false matrix and in the divine matrix. It's created from within, from inside out. When we talk about, the illusions of it and things like that, we create what's inside of us, and that it becomes our reality. Then we are able to. So if we're living from a space of heaven on earth, right, our life will seem like it's beautiful, saying that we won't have challenges, but we won't be looking at them as, oh, my whole world is falling apart. No, we will see it as a challenge that has a lesson in it that teaches us or allows us to grow, allows us to be stronger, allows us to learn about discernment, and so many different things that our challenges can teach us. The third dimension is just one reality, and that duality that is in the third dimension has its space to allow us to be able to learn the lessons that we need to learn, to be able to transcend to the fourth, fifth, sixth, and beyond dimensions, right? Because it shows you, it comes right into your face. Like, if this could be so challenging and you can overcome that, you can ascend, you can transcend your any situation. So the duality has a purpose, but it's not the only reality. The 3D is not the only reality that we exist for, you know. We have options beyond that, and that's like a stepping stone to beyond.
Exactly. Yes, it's a stepping stone to step up or to step down. You know, you get to, because you get to choose. That's the thing. We get to choose, but a lot of us don't realize we have that choice. So that is really, really powerful statement that you said, Indigo. And yet the ability to choose is really what it comes down to. And once you are aware that, oh wow, I don't have to experience the contrast anymore. I don't have to experience the duality, the good or the bad. How about we come back to oneness, which is only through love. Only through love. I also like to the concept of, it doesn't mean that all challenges will be even eliminated, even as you're in the golden age. But what I am getting very strongly is that the challenges, in a way, eliminate themselves. They eliminate themselves through your frequency, through your consciousness, through your love, through your light. They naturally will eliminate themselves, because now you're in that realm of miracles, miracle consciousness, So that is the divine matrix also, is that miracle consciousness, is that because you're so supported. And again, the more that we raise that vibration and operate from a higher frequency, then yes, we are going to be able to experience those miracles, and you're not going to be dealing with the drama as you're anchoring in the divine matrix, because that's not an energetic match to that. It's not an energetic match. Yes.
Love that.
Why can the false matrix also be considered an illusion? And we talked about that a little bit, but let's expand.
Anything that doesn't support you, anything that doesn't make you feel good, anything that doesn't make you feel like you're in a state of love and compassion and grace is the matrix, and is also an illusion. So yeah, for me, it's like,
so I have a question for you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a question.
Yes.
So what if somebody says, how is it an illusion, but I'm experiencing this? Like, if I'm experiencing, being disrespected or experiencing hardship, but I'm really experiencing it, how could it be an illusion? What would you say to that?
How can it be an illusion? I would say, if it doesn't make you feel good, if it doesn't make you feel like you're in harmony with that experience, you also have to have awareness. Am I the one that's participating in this and creating this an illusion or unharmony? So I feel like having that awareness.
I'm just thinking about how the people may be thinking, like, it's an illusion, but I'm actually experiencing this. So how could it be an illusion?
Because it's happening, I guess, in real time. Because like in the moment, like that you're experiencing that, it's like currently happening in your environment. So I feel like, how can you get past that, right? How can you get past that moment of distress or confusion, or that illusion that you're going through? I feel like the more that we awaken and we see past the illusion, and it goes through experience and lessons like we were talking about, the more we'll be able to get closer to that divine matrix. It's like, it's in real time, and it feels so real, right? It feels so real because it's like, it feels like an attack almost when you're going through it. So I feel like even that, if you're not feeling like that's from love, there's a shift that needs to happen. And for me, it's like the shift of it, the illusion, and like the what you're seeing. It's like, yeah, because it's all, it goes even, I can't even think about like we were saying earlier, it goes beyond and beyond and beyond of what we see here on Earth, because we're experiencing the 3D and our human experience, you know. So it just goes beyond for me what I could even think about.
All good. Thank you, babe. What do you feel about it, Indigo?
You know, there's a saying, and I'm probably gonna mess this all up for real. Don't come for me, y'all. So there's a saying that says like, believe half of what you see and like none of what you hear.
None of what you hear. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And that is so true, to kind of like explain that we live in a holographic reality. And reality is based off of what you experience from the inner that reflects outer, and then you're able to determine, well, this is real to me or not, right? And the same with like optical illusions, right? So there was like, I remember growing up, and there was like something going on in the internet where there was like a dress, right? And some people looked at the dress and they saw gold and white, and other people looked at the dress and saw blue and black. Show you that it is an illusion. Reality is based off of your perception, right? So if you shift your perspective, you're able to experience a different reality. Maybe somebody right next to you may be experiencing hell on earth, and you are experiencing heaven on earth. You're looking, you're seeing the beauty, you're connecting with the plants. You know what I'm saying? You are a frequency and vibration, and that's what we are. We are energy, and realize that we're energy. We're able to realize that it's all about frequency, resonance, and our consciousness. When we shift our consciousness to a certain frequency, we are able to realize a different reality. And that's our realization of that, right? Because you don't know, it seems so real to you. And how the heck can that not be my reality?
Right.
Yes. Wow. Something just came in. I'm in a mediumship development group, and the teacher was saying, look at the monks that are in the Himalayas that are in like, there's freezing cold, like snow on them. And they're able to retain the frequency and like their level. They're not dying, you know. They're able to be meditating for hours and hours in the snow in the Himalayas. And there's also people that walk through fire here now on Earth, you know, people that walk through fire, people that are doing outstanding miracles. You know, Wim Hof is an example of that. It's like awakening to seeing that. It's like that person's reality is shifted from what we know, you know, because it's like, how can that happen? It's like you said, they're shifting their reality. There's people doing crazy things on Earth, you know,
supernatural things, right?
Supernatural things. So I like that you touched on that, Indigo, because this is what I would say about this question: is the false matrix can be considered an illusion. It's like, look at what people are doing. Look at the miraculous things people are doing that we could also be doing, but it's the mind shift and it's getting rid of those illusions. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Indigo broke that down excellently. Yes. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. I love that. Yes. One of my Matrix exes told me that one a long time ago. But he was on point with that, okay? But you see through the illusions, you know? He may not be on a high frequency, but he was dropping those gems, and that always stuck with me. It's so true, because we're only seeing, again, we're seeing such a small amount, even through our eyes, of the spectrum of what we're actually seeing, even through our eyes. There is even a dimension in front of us and around us. We could have entities and angels and guides or whatever around us, and even be in a whole nother dimension in reality. But the thing is, it's an illusion because we're operating from such a limited perspective, and we're operating from such a limited level of consciousness. And that's why when we expand our consciousness, we're able to see past those illusions, even the illusions of death, even the illusions of harm and pain and suffering. Yes, it's real in that experience. And no one's trying to undermine or denote the fact that suffering is a very real human experience. Yes. And at the same time, there's beauty in that. There's lessons in that. There's transformation in that. There's guidance in that. And that's why when we're able to transcend out of that illusion of, again, having that limited perspective, again, woe is me. Oh, I'm not able to accomplish anything. Or, for example, a big example that's very common in the human populace is that, some people are meant to be broke and some people are meant to be rich. That is one of the biggest lies on the face of the universe, the multiverse. It's one of the biggest lies. I don't care if you came from nothing and you was living in the slums, the worst slums on the planet. If you arise your consciousness, God will open doors for you. Goddess will open doors for you.
Yes.
If you choose, you got to decide. So that's why it's an illusion. You ladies touched on so many beautiful things. Even plant medicine came to me. When you take plant medicine, you're really able to see past some illusions quickly.
Well, experience it together.
Yes, we all have done an ayahuasca experience together in Peru, and let me tell you, you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing.
Nothing with these guys, right? Nothing.
We can go down the rabbit hole with that one.
Oh, that's a whole rabbit hole. Okay. And mind you, plant medicine comes from God, goddess. It comes from the divine. This is not something that's man-made. It comes from the divine. These tools were brought here to help some of us who are choosing. You don't need it, but some of us are choosing to experience that so that it can help rewire the brain and rewire the consciousness and expand the consciousness so we can see past those illusions. So yeah, that is why the false matrix can be considered an illusion, because we can choose and we can go down the rabbit hole to go up, so to speak.
What is the inner matrix, and how is the outer matrix created from the inner matrix? Mirroring.
So with the inner matrix, we don't talk enough about that, because when we're talking about these divine matrices and the false matrix, a lot of times we're talking about what we're experiencing on the outside. But as we talked about earlier, is the inner matrix, our inner state of being, our inner reality, because we have a world within us too. Even if I think about the movie The Men in Black, I remember the part where they had the cat and they zoomed into the eye of the cat, and inside the eye of the cat was the whole universe, like through the eye of the cat in The Men in Black. So we have a whole universe inside of us, a whole world beyond worlds, a world within worlds, so to speak. It's a whole multiverse. And so, and that is not only in our organs, our cells, our atoms, our DNA, again, through our energy, our body, when they say your body's a temple, it's very true. Your mindset, our emotions. And so our inner matrix, our inner state of being, reminding you, we call ourselves the bad bees for a reason, because it's that state that you're in. Are you in a state of that peace? Are you in a state of that calm? Are you in a state of love, true unconditional love? And that is what is going to attract and mirror, because everything's a mirror. If you are even a great example, which I always tell people, you could be a so-called good person, and you are a good person, but if you're not good to yourself, you're going to mirror people who are also not going to be good to you. I had to learn that the hard way many times. We have to be good to ourselves. If we are not having high standards within ourselves, if we are not, truly loving ourselves from the inside out, doing the inner work, doing the shadow work, working on integrating the ego to work for the heart and the soul. If we're not doing those things, then we're mirroring our inner matrix to match with the false matrix or the divine matrix. So again, it's up to you, but it starts with that awareness.
For an example that I have is when somebody is sick or when somebody has disease, but they're eating junk food and they're eating toxins. It's like what you're consuming is now showing you in your outer matrix, like your body, what your, people that have cancer, people that have diabetes or heart conditions, like they got to that point because they consumed things that were hurting their body. So that is what comes to me when people are creating, like you said, it's what you're consuming and what you're seeing. It's now manifested in the outer matrix. So It's like showing you what you're creating on the inside is coming out. So that was like an example that I see, and also the opposite, people that are thriving and are they're fit and they're feeling good and they're healthy, and you can see that in the outer experience.
That's so true. It goes back to the saying, when there's no enemy inside, there's no enemy outside of yourself. That's an African proverb. So when we're not an enemy to ourselves, you're not going to be experiencing the mirror of, somebody attacking you or being against you. Life starts to work for you rather than being against you when we're no longer an enemy to ourselves. And a lot of times we are self-destructing because, again, we're choosing to, unconsciously, most of the time, and subconsciously. But we can switch that all around. What do you have to say about it, Indigo?
This one, what's coming through for me is also about like the false light, because some people outer appearance may seem like everything is all together. They may be a part of charities and give back for the sake of whatever reason, tax purposes, you know what I'm saying? And their inner world is just not filled. There's no cultivation of light within, there's no world within, because they're so consumed with the outside world, the illusion. I need to make more money. I got to go to work. I got to feed the children. I got to, so many things, go to the gym, do that. And they're cultivating their outer world, but the inner world is being neglected.
I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yes. So the outer world may appear to be all together, but you're still going to have challenges. You're still going to, there's going to be things that come up that maybe you don't want to show to the world, but it is on the inside. The confidence is on the inside, like people who they have so much abundance. We talked about this on the last podcast. They have so much money, had accomplished so many successful things in the outer world, but they don't have love within themselves. They're mean spirit, they're unkind to other people. You know what I'm saying? You guys were mentioning this yesterday with the documentary you watched about the Kundalini yoga, and how in appearance, they're giving back and they're promoting this beautiful sacred practice of Kundalini yoga, but then toxic. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. It's just a show. That's the thing. It's just an act. And so that's a big illusion of the false matrix, is that act. And I love that you were talking about on the inside. But see, this is the thing. Some people may say, well, if their insides are bad, then how come on the outside it looks all beautiful? So they're not mirroring. Some people may say that, and that would be a good question. But let me challenge you on that. They're mirroring it because it's still not soul fulfilling. It's still not sustainable. It's still not feeding them true inner happiness. Because again, on the outside to us, it may look great, but they could, all of that putting on a show and stuff, it could actually be a curse to them.
Oh yeah.
It could be a curse and a punishment to them. And that's what a while ago too, is that when I was even thinking about people who, again, surface level stuff. Like if you think like, oh, somebody has it going on because they're so beautiful, they have the perfect body, especially for us women, right? But they're attracting nothing but men who do not care anything about their soul, just their body. Yeah, I may buy you this, I may buy you that, but nobody really loves them for them. Nobody really loves them for them. They have a whole bunch of fake people around them. Same thing with maybe rich men, right? Rich men or rich people. And again, this is just an example, but this is very common though in the false matrix, is like people being around you and siphoning for the wrong reason. That's why they say it's lonely at the top, but it's only lonely at the top of the false matrix, because all of that is an illusion in the first place. It's not going to be lonely at the top of the divine matrix, because we're all in together. There's no hierarchy there. And that's why it can't be lonely at the top. So yeah, that's a brilliant point, is that false light. And they're mirroring, more of the falsities and the fakeness, and they're mirroring more of the show, because they're putting on a show.
That also something I wanted to add. They're attracting people at that level of vibration too.
Yes.
So it's like kind of like the conversation on our way back from LA one time when we were talking about this, when you were like, that is their curse. That is the curse that they get, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Thanks for going into that, Wind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. It is a curse. Sometimes we may think money can be somebody's curse. And that's another illusion too. You may think, they're getting blessed, they're getting blessings, or fame could be somebody's curse.
Yes. Look at Kanye West. He expresses it all the time. Like, he's super talented, amazing, when it comes to his talent, but no peace. No peace. He goes on these tangents all the time. And of course, mental illness is included in that. But look how many of us are dealing with mental illness. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Diagnosed depression, anxiety. So, and just like, that this false reality, which we're going to go into next with like celebrities. And I love Lauryn Hill's album, the Unplugged MTV album. And she talks about how, she loved singing from a child. And that was her, her dream to be a singer. And then when she got into the industry, she realized that she was no longer being able to create freely something that she loved, because then it became a business. And then it became like a production. And then it became, I have all this team that I have to pay, and everybody's like, you have everybody depending on you to show up to be perfect. And that's not real. We're not perfect all the time. Like, sometimes we want to sit around in our PJs and be okay with that. They're like a machine, right? The celebrities are ending up like machines, because they kind of got to keep going, sick, tired, somebody passed, like grief. They're pushing through everything.
Absolutely.
In a false reality.
Yeah. And the inauthenticity could never be perfect, because it's not authentic. It could never be perfect. So that's the illusion as well, is that we're, I'm perfect because I'm putting on a glamorous dress and I have the best hair and the best makeup and all these people around me. But again, I'm dying on the inside. I'm dying on the inside.
Let's talk about the food. When you go to the grocery store, those bright, shiny, beautiful looking apples sprayed with wax and all type of like pesticides.
Yes, exactly.
They look perfect, but they're toxic.
Those pretty donuts, those pretty, those pretty cakes filled with nothing but, GMO garbage, junk, even down to things, how some things taste. It tastes that good because all those chemicals. That's why you can't get enough of it.
Let's go deeper into the systems within the matrix. The simulation that we are all co-creating in, consciously or unconsciously. And there's some major systems. I'm just going to go ahead and read through them really briefly, and then we can expound on each one of them. So we have politics and the government, education system, the medical system, which me and Kim are a part of, the news and media, televisions,
Hollywood, okay.
And celebrities, religion and the church, racism, classism, sexism.
It exists as if it's the norm.
Science, surface level relationships, family dynamics, intimate relationships, friendships, peer groups, co-workers, there's so many illusions within those systems. Let's expound on it just briefly. So what about, politics and the government? You know,
Okay.
like you take bad things make laugh, you know?
Oh, I gotta hear you say that one more time. Come on now. Bad gal.
My grandmother would always say, you take bad things make laugh. You just gotta laugh at like the bad things. Like you can't take it seriously. And I didn't understand as a child what she was trying to explain to us, or that phrase, what that phrase meant. But she didn't take it so seriously and get upset by the bad things. She just laughed at it. Like I mentioned, we have a celebrity reality TV star as our president of the United States, and
a whole criminal too, a felon,
convicted felon.
Yeah, and a actual a sexual predator as well. Spit out of his own mouth, a sexual deviant as a president as well.
You can see the illusion. We can clearly, especially now, with the agenda to push more division, duality within the system of government and politics. The Rasta people have words for everything. When they say politics, seriously, they're tricking you. And like these things are being exposed more and more. So you don't have to believe what we're saying from our level of consciousness. This is out there now. Also, where you have CSI documents that are actually hidden documents that are now released to the public now, where they're sharing about the power of the mind and how you can move past pain with like repeating a sequence in your mind over and over, and you won't experience pain and different things like that. So is pain even real? The government knows certain things that they're not releasing to us. And then when they release it, you can clearly see like, why y'all kept that from me? Why can I be empowered the same way with that same information?
The politicians, I mean, for years, even before we were born, and even before your mother and grandmother was born, people have been suffering under government systems. They've been suffering. I mean, think about it. The government has made legal slavery.
The trafficking?
Yes, trafficking. Yes. These things were considered legal at one time, even again before we were here. And to a degree, slavery is still legal, but now it's under the guise of the prison system. So that's, and we're still slaves too, to another degree too. But again, that's a whole nother, I mean, that still is related to this topic too. But again, we're slaves to the matrix. And I say we're slaves. I'm not saying that to not be empowered. I'm saying in terms of when we're not empowered and we're not conscious as a collective in the matrix systems, this is a slave matrix. It's made for us to be slaves because we don't know our power. If you don't have your power and you don't have dominion over yourself, and you're not living a life how you want to live it in full abundance, then that would make us slaves to some degree or another.
Right. They say they put the chains off our bodies and put it on our minds.
Exactly. Because mental slavery is the worst slavery. Mental slavery, because then you'll be a voluntary slave. Now they made us voluntary slaves. Now they ain't got to whip us or beat us into submission. We're begging to submit. Let me pay my taxes. When I hear people say,
but they threaten you. We're threatened on like different levels. Yeah, they threaten us on so many different levels with fear, which is what? False evidence real, right? Yeah, it is. The slavery is on the mind now, and then they kind of push you into submission through fear, because if you don't pay your taxes, then they're going to come for you, or they're going to lock you up, or they're going to take your check and you're not going to be able to pay your bills, or, so many crazy things that just don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like logical sense. It doesn't make sense. But then we kind of buy into that system and feel obligated to follow it because fear. Yes. And love is not fear. That is love or fear. It's not both. Love does not exist in fear.
It also shows you how much love we have within ourselves. For them to want to destroy us since the moment we're born, it shows you how much power love really has. That is something I wanted to bring up. It shows you how powerful we truly are. It just blows my mind. All of this that we're talking about.
Exactly. And even the division that government and politics create. Democrat versus Republican, mostly male presidents, all white presidents, this versus that. And then also, again, just look at the state of the world. What has government and politics done? Look around you. Are people healthy as a collective? No, they're not. Are people still struggling to pay bills? Don't even have money to have fun and survive? No, many people are struggling. Even the middle class, they're paycheck away from heading down to the welfare office. Let's look at the state of the world and look at all the hate. Look at all of the hate and the division in the racism, sexism, colorism, all of that's being perpetuated through the government systems and politics. So, I mean, like Kim said in the last podcast, it's in your face. It's in your face. There's no excuse now to, and again, we should be governing ourselves. I always say my president is the divine.
Yes.
God. I vote for love. I vote for God. Goddess,
So. And it's not the time to know how, it's the time to do. Kind of like talking about the action. It's just out there already. It's in our faces. It's not the time to, I believe Dr. Joe Dispenza quotes it. It's not the time to know how, it's the time to do. There's so much evidence out there. And that comes with the awareness. We talk about the awareness, and it's the time to do. It's a time for us to take action because it is so in our face with everything.
Yeah, well, the how is, in your cells, in your blood, it's in your consciousness. It's through the compass of your heart. It's through the compass of, that is the how. It's really even beyond the doing. It's the beingness, because the doing comes from the being.
What about education and the education system?
I never understood school. Growing up, I just never understood. I'm like, why would just tell my little self would be in 3rd, 4th grade. Why do I even need to know? Why do I need to learn this? Why there's just so much, since I was little, I could tell the separation, talking about certain things in school, like racism or history or things like that. It was never something that never throughout school, I felt like I really learned something that was going to benefit me in my life. Yeah. So I saw past all the illusions of education, Since I was a little girl, my little mind was like, why is there so much separation, and having to only learn a single subject of this certain person saying these things, supposed to be a teacher, but is not really teaching anything that wasn't resonate to my soul. In my experience growing up. That's why I never resonated with education growing up, because I never felt like I was taught anything of value or anything of love in my own experience. Because it just, in my feeling while I was going through school, I just never thought that I was being educated properly. I had to honestly educate myself through my own life experiences. A lot of what I've been able to build myself up in my career, what I've been able to accomplish, was honestly things that I had to research and things that I had to go through in my life. So that's what I get, that's what I have in regards to the education system.
Yes, thank you, love. It's true. It just didn't resonate.
Tim, I resonate with what you said, because I wasn't even thinking when I first, was feeling into this. I wasn't even thinking about childhood, because I have degrees in higher education. So I'm just thinking, I went straight to that. I remember I was in maybe 3rd or 4th grade. I would hang out with the teachers, right? I wasn't even with my peer group and the children. I was so much more advanced And then when I was like learning about history, social studies, science, I was like, this is a whole bunch of bull. Literally, at a young age, it's a whole bunch of bull crap. You were trying to teach me and convince me, program me to believe that this is real, this is what it is, and you're telling me, you know, whatever history and the history books, and this is not real.
Yeah, Columbus founded America. Black people's only history is slavery. That was our first history.
Girl, that's what took me out.
That I was like, what?
I said, you're trying to teach about me, and then you're saying my start is like slavery? Yes, yeah. I'm sicking out your brain. Let's stop you right there. Let's stop you right there. I'm not allowing it, you know what, to go any further. Yeah, I had to go through the grades or whatever, and I excelled because it was, you know, nothing. But I already saw the bull. High school, getting into it with my teachers because I'm like, this is not real. And you tripping about me talking in the class, but I finished my work.
Yeah.
I finished within the first 30 minutes because it's not challenging. It's a whole bunch of bullcrap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was in 11th grade, 10th, 11th grade, I was leaving school at 11 o'clock. I had no idea what I wanted to do in college because nothing was really stimulating me. I wasn't stimulated by the school system. And I, of course, being programmed, I thought, okay, I needed to get a degree in order to be successful. Not saying that I had to, but that was an option, one of the options in order to be successful. Although there's entrepreneurship and so many different realms of, you know, success. I went off to college still not knowing what I wanted to do. Seeing the potential of technology and things like that, I went down that track first. But as a compassionate being that I am, nurturer, healer, nursing found me, you know, and I was so fulfilled when I shift my studies into nursing. And from then on, yeah, but even in that system, which we're going to talk about the medical system next, even in that system, I saw all of the falsities and the just even learning about the different demographics and the risk factors and the different things. It was just like, this doesn't really make no sense to me, you know? And I still enjoy being a nurse because I love taking care of my patients, but then to also see like the disparities in that environment where, you know, two patients aren't getting the same treatment. And there's a whole book on this. I don't even have to talk about it from my personal experience, but the Medical Apartheid book talks about data of disparities in the healthcare systems over and over and over again. Even women, you know, Black women back in the day had to give birth, C-sections, no type of medication, no type of, you know, anesthesia, pain medicine, nothing. Literally,
no care.
They're
no
so
care.
sad.
Literally, so many women die every year now, currently, because of being neglected by the healthcare system, not believing that their pain, their feelings, their symptoms are actually real. They're thinking that it's all made up in their minds. You know what I'm saying? Not looking further, not doing the correct tests and exploration to help them.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
It's all about the check. It's all about the money for them.
It's all about the hatred as well. The hatred, the money. A lot of them are filled with hate. You know, thank God for nurses like you, Indigo, because we do need light workers in these spaces as well. We do need angelic, God conscious, beautiful souls in these spaces. Same thing with you, Kim. Thank goodness beautiful people like you all are in these spaces, because even though it's very dense and you can see the duality again, so it's in your face, you see it. But you all are the ones who are making a difference and putting light, because, you know, there's a lot of innocent people coming to these people for help, and they're not really giving them help because of, you know, whatever biases, prejudices, whatever, or just because their soul is just filthy.
All the systems kind of like working together with the food system, keeping people sick.
Mhm.
And then they go to the hospitals to just kind of like mask the system, take medicine to correct one thing that's ended up messing up something else. It's like a revolving door. It keeps you coming. And if you see these trays that the patients get in the hospital, what they're eating,
Oh, I know.
no
It's
wonder why
garbage.
they're sick.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. Shouldn't it be a healing center? Shouldn't hospitals be a healing center? But, you know, even the word hospital, hospice means death. Hospital is a death center. Hospital, because hospice means death. So it's not a life center, unfortunately. And like Indigo said, you know, she knows it firsthand is, you know, it's the environment is not conducive of healing. So what a blessing that light workers like you, Indigo, and like I said, even you, Kim, even though you're not working in the hospital, you're still working in the medical field, you know, to act people who genuinely want to help and care.
It's so sad. Just to share an experience, you know, I do a lot of work at dialysis clinics, and it's so sad to see the people that are suffering. And what do they have in these lobbies? Chocolate, Skittles, chips. Oh, here you go. Here's your, you know, thank you for coming to dialysis. Here's your chips and your chocolate.
Yeah.
It is
that's
so
gonna rush you back to dialysis in the next hour.
Here's your poison.
Yeah, here's your poison. Yeah, because it's all part of this to keep you looped in the system. It's all part of it. It's very, it's just horrible. Horrible. Yeah, I want to say too quickly about the educational system is that the word education comes from the Latin word educare. Educare means to bring out. So real education, we're supposed to be bringing out our innate gifts, not putting in. And again, the education system is a system of just regurgitating talking points. So let me go to school, and how well can you memorize, pretty much? How well can you memorize what we're teaching you? Not how well can you think for yourself? Don't dare ask questions. Even when we're looking at how we've been taught with math, or like even Indigo said history, we've been lied to about that. Even like the Joe Rogan podcast, you know, how Terrence Howard, that's his name. Yeah. He was talking about how we've been taught 1 times 1 is 1. How could that be when something multiplying itself has to double? You know? Right. So no, 1 times 1 would actually equal 2. So even how we've been, you know, we've been lied to. And again, it just shows that we're taught to just imitate. The education system is to train us to go work for the matrix, to go work for their false systems. That's what they want. It's a funnel system. It's a funneling. And like they even say, even in the Black community, they call the education system the education to prison system pipeline, for especially for Black boys, because of even how the programming, the racism that's in there, and the profiling that happens. Even from my experience, even from me having my son in the certain programs, and he's autistic, you know, mind you, my son's special needs. And for him to be in those systems and to even see how they were profiling him and creating a file on him, you know, it was like, where's the compassion? Where's the understanding? You know? And again, it's not just the Black kids, it's all children. But of course, keeping it real, of course, the Black children are going to be treated the worst, because that's how the matrix works, is, you know, that the systems in there. So yeah, it's just, so the education system is a system made for us to go work for the matrix, not for us to go think for ourselves, not for us to bring out our real innate gifts. And I want to also be clear, there's nothing wrong with education. It's just that this education system is distorted. It's a distorted system. So that's what I have to say about education.
Oh my gosh, Lynn, I love what you said about, you know, kind of like the education system preparing Black boys in particular for the prison system. And, you know, before I remember, this was years ago, where I was hearing about how the education system or public school system mimics the prison system, and how you have the bells that kind of like, you know, releases you from one chamber to another. and then you have your recess or your time to be outside. I don't know what they call that in prison, but like, you know, you get their outside time where they go and work out and they do their thing. And then the bell rings and then you got to go back inside to a box, you know.
Yep.
That
true.
Mimics the same system. And then
exactly.
Now schools are having metal detectors and different things. How is that different than the prison system?
Yep. Yeah, you're right. I love that you said that, because it's exactly, even if you think about schools, there's cliques. There's bullying is even allowed, even a lot of times perpetuated by the teachers. A lot of teachers don't even fully speak up. I've even seen teachers bully students, and bully just very cliquish, like you said, the prison system. And then especially if there's racism, because a lot of these teachers are very racist as well, and especially they're going to target the Hispanics and the Blacks and put them in a box, and especially the Black boys, create a profile on them. What do police do? They profile, right? Or the so-called bad police, they profile you. That profiling starts, and what does that start teaching the child? I'm not good enough. I'm bad. I'm not accepted. I'm not loved. I'm rejected. Where's the compassion? Where's the true healing? Where's the spiritual aspect that should be in school? Where's the self-love classes? I don't see that. Where's the classes to teach us to garden and to connect with nature? Where's the meditation classes? There's none of that.
Thankfully, these things are being incorporated in schools even more nowadays, you know? So yeah, I'm grateful that we're shedding light on the false, you know, and the illusions within those systems. But thankfully, there are human angels in those systems as well that are bringing remedies to those things that they see too. The meditation. More teachers are taking the initiative, not really maybe the school system, but a teacher may incorporate some moments of mindfulness or breathing or meditation. And there are human angels in that system, and schools are being more open to creating space for mindfulness, meditation, and a different reality. Because these children, some of them are really, really have it really bad. They have it really bad. They have it bad at home. They come to school. They're bullied. They, you know. Children unaliving themselves younger and younger, you know what I'm saying? So
because of the TikTok and the bullying, all that stuff.
So there is media. A change that is required, and we are doing it. That's what we're doing right now in the golden age.
That's what we're doing, exactly. But in the false matrix, you know, you're gonna have to be lucky to have a beautiful teacher like that, because it's not common in the false matrix. And I love what Indigo said, because we are in the age of awakening. Those things are now coming more online, and more teachers, if you know, their heart is raising. So that is beautiful to know, but there's still so much work to do. Let's be real. There's so much work to do.
Layers and layers. Wow, layers and layers.
Oh yeah, until we get to like really be like embodying the golden age, there's lots of work to do. So I always want to bring it right back to that. This is where we are now. That was so dominant for so long. But now it's time for something different. And the only way we're going to do something different is if we do it. It starts from within.
Goddess.
And shedding light on the darkness, or not the darkness, the evil, shedding light on those spaces where it's been very covert, and it's been very, you know, sinister, and it's been very, you know, a lot of things that we've allowed. We have to shed light on that, because that's the only way to alchemize it. There's no more hiding, you know, it's like throwing stones and hiding your hand type of thing. You know, we have to shed light on that. And absolutely, Indigo, because now that we are shedding light on, that's what this conversation is about. We're shedding light, because we got to start calling these things out. That's the only way. It's no more like going along to get along with this bull crap.
Right.
None of that. No, I'm not going along to get along with none of this. As soon as I seen they started profiling my son was out of that mess. My son is now being homeschooled. I said, my son is going to be around true love and light beings and have a well-rounded life. My son is learning more from life than he ever learned in those school systems.
And also building this beautiful community, no matter where you're at in your life, you're watching this video and you're gaining this information, know that we're here for you. Know that, send us an email, send us a message. You know, if you need any support through this, we are here for you, because it can be so dense. It can be so hard to live in this false matrix, and just, we've all been in it, and from experience we can all help each other, and that's the golden age. That is the golden age. We're here to support and love on you guys, and we're just here because we love you so much. We want you to be out of this.
Yes, absolutely. And we love ourselves, because it starts with self. We love ourselves, and we're getting rid of that matrix so we can truly love you. Because how can we truly love any of you if we're not working on ourselves? You know, it starts with self. And so I love that. Thank you, Kim. Yes, that beautiful reminder. Yes, connect with us even in the chat, even in the comment section. Message us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your experience is in the matrix.
Corporations.
Yeah.
So I've worked for startup companies for 8 years now, right? I do business or marketing for them. And we've built these companies millions and millions of dollars through our hard work. The people, the co-workers, the people that are doing the work, the back office people, the people that are doing the sales. These people sell their companies for millions of dollars at the end of, you know, when they're going to get bought out by other companies because they've made such a large success. And this is an example that I have. These 4 doctors that I worked for built this huge company. We made them millions. At the end, they sold to another company. People lost their jobs. People were confused. People were sad. People have been bankrupt. Did these 4 doctors, they made $250 million when they sold their company. Did they give anything back to any of us? Nothing. And it shows you how much people are used in the matrix corporations. They're just out to make themselves millionaires, to put that money back into the system, to make another person a millionaire or billionaire or whatever. It's like we are just a number to these corporations. We are not. Nothing comes from love with these corporations. And through my experience, it's no wonder I'm at the end of getting the heck out, because it's nothing is coming from love with these corporations. And that is what the false matrix shows you. And I'm grateful for this experience, because it's showing me, and it's showed me what is from love and what doesn't come from love when you work for these big corporations. So that's what I have to say. It's just, you're just a number. Take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your soul, do the inner work, because at the end of the day, you are just a number.
Yeah. I want to reiterate something. Thank you for that. This is because, again, a lot of us will be loyal to these jobs, and these jobs are not they're not loyal to us. What does this say? Be loyal to what you love.
Yes.
That's the reminder. That's what Spirit's telling us, to get out of the false matrix. Because a lot of these jobs, you know, you may love to help people, but you're not getting treated with that respect. You're not getting compensated. Like I said, we're getting pennies. In the corporation, pennies to the dollar. Even if somebody's making 6 figures, guess what? The person who's at the top, that's nothing to them. That's nothing to them. That's like pocket change, because they're making the big bucks. And you're right. But again, that's that slave system. And they make you feel like you need them. Like, you need me. You can't make it on their own. That's the programming too. And that's why it's a lot of people are so scared to leave those jobs, because they have so many bills to pay. But then what happens when the job just drops you? Then you have to figure it out anyway.
Yes.
You have to figure it out anyway.
This is so sad. Like the company that I'm currently with now just dropped, they got rid of half of our department. There's a lady that just had her baby. Her baby's having epilepsy issues. Just dropped her. Then when the conversation was brought up to the person that came in and dropped these people, oh yeah, we had to do it. I've just been in shock this past week. I've just been in shock this past week, and I just can't do it anymore. It's enough. It is enough. So
yeah, my heart goes out to you, Kim, for sure. I know it's a lot to see, and even as an empath, it's very hard because you see just people not being treated fairly. No. And not giving the love and the respect that they deserve, and all the loyalty that you show to this company. And I can't even get a severance check. I can't even get a one-on-one meeting to explain this. Just like, oh, we're just letting you go. We got our money. I don't know what y'all about to do, but figure it out. It's like that type of energy. Where's the love?
No love. Like I said, no love. You are just a number in these corporations. You know, and I haven't seen any difference. That's been my experience the past 8 years, and
same.
It's so sad.
Yeah, same. Yeah, being in the corporations, myself, I could see that almost like an evil system. I could feel it so strongly, and how we were like the pawns. We were like the pawns on the chessboard. And then because if you look at, even if you know anything about chess, the pawns get sacrificed for the queen, right? Mm-hmm. Queen is the ultimate, chess. I don't know the word, but she's the highest chess piece on the board, and is the king, and so on and so forth. But I always looked at all of us like the pawns that could easily be sacrificed for the benefit of the queen, right? Yeah. And so working in those systems, I was even looking at how much I was making for the company as well, and what I was getting in commission. And again, they make you think that, oh, you're making good money, but really it's pennies compared to what you're making them. And then again, no respect. No respect. And then I see the racism in all of these different places. Very, very in your face. I remember these Canadian people were running American Express. That's where I used to work. American Express years ago, and I would just see they literally had these red faces, these white people walking around, but their faces were so red and they just had this snotty, uppity attitude, like I'm better, and it was just such a joke to me. I'm like, you can think that, that doesn't make me, but it's still like, who wants to be around that? And then they're cutting the check. No, thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for my experience, because now I'm speaking up. Like, where's the love in this place? Where's this? Really? That happened? I went straight to that new person. I said, you're the one that's causing this chaos, and you can switch it around. And I don't care, fire me, but I'm going to speak my truth.
Yes.
I'm going to speak my truth.
Speak that truth, my love. What do you have to say, Indigo?
I just want to say, so many people sacrifice time, energy, time spent with family, children, loved ones, to dedicate to a company, corporation. And like you said, their days are numbered, or they may aspire to advance. And because of, racism or, duality, there is things that someone brand new can come in, and this person been working for the company for 20 years, the most eligible person for a position, and it will go to Jill or Jane, who just came in, just hired for the position, never had experience. And then they go to the person who's been with the company for 20 years, who's actually the person who's the most qualified for the position, to get help and get trained for the position, but they don't give the position to the person who would be most qualified for it.
There's no loyalty. It just shows there's no loyalty.
No loyalty.
No. So we're we're loyal to corporations, and they're not loyal to us. When they're ready, they would close down a whole department and not even think about it. Go to sleep the same night. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So That's all I have to say about that. Your value system. Where's your loyalty? What are you loyal to? Are you loyal to your heart? Are you loyal to divine, or are you loyal to a corporation? Because all that time, energy, sacrifice for a corporation that will end up firing you, laying you off in the blink of an eye, and then that time can never be replaced. You can never get that time back. That time missed when you missed with your children, the time missed with your family, that time when you had to go to work even when you were grieving, the time when, you know what I'm saying? You don't get that back. You don't get those back.
Yep. Even what's coming to me, the bathroom breaks, it's just so childlike.
Bathroom
Bathroom breaks. It's like you're a grown person. You got to ask to go to the bathroom, 10-minute breaks, lunch is going by. You barely have time to breathe on your lunch break. It's again, it's like you're a machine. It's like you're a machine.
Yeah.
All right. So what about the news and media?
Yeah. So I'm going to be short with this. News, it feeds off of fear. It's fear mongering. And the news is a big propaganda system. Most of us have even heard this. Actually, they teach some of this in school, you know, and also following the bandwagon, you know, hopping on the bandwagon. And again, the news, again, you got to notice how you feel after watching the news. That's why I don't watch the news as much as I used to. I actually don't really watch it at all. Like I said, if I watch it, I'm just tuning in for whatever reason. But that's not something I watch on a daily basis at all. And mainly because it doesn't make me feel good. And there's always so much negativity on the news. Yes. And not only that, the news has been known to spread lies and to spread false truths. You know, that's a whole known thing, but you got to be able to tune into yourself and to see how it feels. And, you know, God bless one of my clients. She came over like a week or two ago, and all this Trump stuff is like literally running her crazy. And I just really had to remind her, like, focus on you, my love. Turn the TV off. That's what they want, to siphon your energy. They want to siphon your energy. That's the whole purpose of it all, is to get involved in all this nonsense and to create more separation. Because when you're involved in all that, and then now you're in the this versus that type of energy, now, you know, you're in the drama. And now, again, it's siphoning what's more important than your peace. Again, what's more important than your peace?
Yes. And I wanted to add to that one too. It's like, it's everywhere. Gyms, hospitals, grocery stores, doctors' offices. The news are everywhere. It's like, they want you to pay attention so you can be in fear. Like you said, it's like continuously like this false matrix everywhere. Yeah, I don't participate in watching the news anymore, but I remember when I did watch, it was just fear, like you said.
We talk about the news, but I do want to talk about media as a whole, not just in the news sector, like, you know, or the television, but also like through social media, which is also a part of the matrix as well, that we don't really talk about. We're naturally social beings, you know, we crave community, we crave to connection, right? But in that world too, they're censoring what is being shared, what can be shared, what can show up online, and then they're pushing the algorithm, pushing things viral, going viral, that some crazy stuff, you know, to get you kind of like caught up in this false reality even more, this fear, this trends that keep you further away from going within. You kind of going more out like into this world of confusion instead of coming back in, bringing that spiral right back in to the heart, to the soul, to the truth. What are we really sharing on social media? Are we just on there to dance and look cute and post pictures and selfies on ourselves? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with, you know, empowering yourself through social media and those outlets. But it's also the purpose. What's your purpose? What are you doing? You know, what are you sharing? Are you perpetuating the same cycle that they're actually wanting us to push, right? separation, duality, false reality of everything seems to be perfect in my life. Like we talked about with that question earlier, everything seems to be perfect in my life and you only show the good times. But then what about when life really be lifing? Does that not exist? When everybody's just showing the best parts of their life, then you feel bad for actually needing that time to rest, needing that time to go deeper within, needing that time to just kind of slow down. You feel obligated to show up and post every day online just to be able to make a little change. Because some people, that's where they get their money. That's where they pay their bills. I remember when it was a few years ago on my YouTube channel where I was in the system, required to get a vaccine, flu vaccine. And, I went through the process. I was even like threatened of my job being lost. And I had to write a letter. So I went to my YouTube channel and I shared all the information that I learned about the vaccines, particularly the flu one at the time, and the components in the vaccine and why I chose not to receive it. And I was willing to lose my job over it. That video got flagged by YouTube. And I just showed literal facts from the CDC website. It was no speculations. Right. I went straight to the ingredients in it, brought it up, showed what it was, and that video was down and they threatened to like cancel my whole account.
Yep. Censorship.
Yeah. And there's so many times people are posting and sharing, shedding light, right? And they're censored, their accounts are shadow banned, or they're deleted, especially during the pandemic or, the time with that, that time a few years ago where no one could really talk about it. If you talked about it, your whole account was going down.
Yeah, I mean, you can only talk about it if it's for their agenda. Like if you're promoting it, then because everything was algorithm based. It was AI robots reading and listening to what you were saying to catch, phrases. So that's so true, and that's a big part of the false illusions of media too. Is that they push in media what they want you to see. They're going to push the drama. They're going to push the violence. They're going to push the superficiality. They're going to push the fakeness. But the minute you start talking about something real, now you're shadow banned. I mean, think about it. I love that you even brought up social media because even that is turning into like porn nowadays. Like, children are on social media. There's a lot of, I didn't even realize even on Twitter, I didn't know they allowed porn and all that stuff. And even on Instagram, I'm scrolling down. I follow nothing but spiritual pages most of the time. And so one of the spiritual pages got hacked and all I see is breast and coochie out and booty. I'm like, I don't follow nothing like this. So I'm just like, I was like, well, I might as well go to the strip club. I'm trying to not see all this nonsense, because I'm not thinking with my lower nature. But media is pushing the nonsense. But the minute, and if you even look at the people that are being pushed and supported in the algorithms, it's the ones who are pushing you to be in your lower nature. And also media is a distraction. It's a big distraction from self. Huge. Because now we're consumed with all this nonsense. Yeah, I just want to say really quick too, even in the medical system, I'm glad you brought it up too. I forgot to mention even the medication that they give you in the medical system causes harm. There's so many, lawsuits, or you'll hear, you'll see a commercial. Did you take this? Join this class action lawsuit, because you'll take something for something. And the next thing you know, now you have, kidney disease, or, your lungs are collapsing or whatever.
A few years ago, what came to me actually at the beach, connecting with the water, the 7 deadly sins, right? We all know about the 7 deadly sins, right? And I realized how that is like really pushed in media, in the false reality, in that matrix. You on social media, you're seeing lust. More and more women are open to sharing their bodies and you know, showing up in ways that are lustful.
Yep.
Right? To
appealing to the lower nature of people.
appeal to the lower nature, you know, and then because the algorithm is pushing that and they're getting all these likes from it, it's like, oh, let me keep doing it. Let me keep doing it. Let me keep doing it. The same with gluttony and the mukbangs. That was like a whole
the mukbangs. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yep.
You want to eat this whole big old thing of stuff and you all that's gluttony.
Girl, and those people have millions of followers.
Millions
to just eat and stuff their face and be obese. And girl.
It's so in your face.
Yes. All of them, but like for time purposes, just like pay attention to that for yourself and see how those things are aligning. That's where the shadow part comes in, because it makes it seem like, oh, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's really just like real shadows. It's like that gray area. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like overt, like this is what's happening. They make it seem like, oh, it's just fun. I'm just having fun. I'm connecting. I'm just showing up online. This is something I like to do. And but you don't understand what that is feeding your lower nature.
Mm-hmm. Where's the common sense though? But even with a mukbang, like you said, they try to make it seem like, oh, this is fun, this is cool, it's just people enjoying food or whatever. And no, these people, this is unhealthy.
Yeah.
This is unhealthy. You're killing yourself in real time, and people are liking this. And you know, I heard somebody say yesterday on a podcast, you know, you deserve the leaders that you follow. You deserve, you know, the people that are following this type of stuff and liking this type of stuff. This is the same frequency of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why people who are really spreading the real truth and the real knowledge, they're not going to get the traction in the matrix. You know, because the matrix is desiring the lust. They're desiring the mukbangs. They're desiring the violence and the, you know, the rap or the whatever, the celebrity worship.
Yeah.
They're desiring that.
Yeah. The drama with the fake reality TV shows, you know, and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. People deserve the leaders that they follow, because, and I'm saying that from a place of like, because that's what you're choosing, that's what you're vibrating on, you know. And unfortunately, those people are leading many of those people down a very, very, very bad path, you know, very bad path. And that's why our podcast is so needed. Needed.
Yes.
To the righteous ones who want to, you know, be on that path of Christ consciousness is huge. And I feel like since we're talking about media, let's segue into the Hollywood, the celebrity, because it's all the same thing.
Right. Just even with that, like, you know, the Hollywood and celebrity worship and I feel like even now I can see how that is like being dismantled too, because before social media was so big and present, you would see these, you know, celebrities and you would admire them so much. You just wanted to be them. I know, like growing up, I used to like see like the Cheetah Girls, and then I'm like, oh, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like, you know, my favorite childhood, you know, celebrity singers growing up, I used to be like, man, if I seen them, I would probably freak out. You know what I mean?
You're so right. Yes.
Not seeing that, you know, they're humans just like me. They're a regular person that has to basically pretend to be immortal. In a way, they push themselves beyond beyond limits. And
Yeah.
in a
What's
way
coming to me is the Disney stars and how they crash out. Look at them.
exactly
That is so sad.
destructive drugs, alcohol, all of that in that Hollywood that's so filled up in there, and so many people, in order to just keep going, they get into that, and then they lose their lives.
Yes.
Yep. I remember back in the day when I used to go to clubs. I remember going to the club with this one girl, and she was all into the Matrix, but I was too, to a degree. It was about the clubbing, the dancing, dressing cute, but she was deep in it. Like, she was loyal to the Matrix. Okay, she was loyal
to the Matrix.
She was, girl. She was all about the looks, all that. Anyways, I remember going to the club, and I remember a celebrity was going to be there, and I remember I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this particular celebrity. I remember she said, well, we're the stars. And I remember that really hit me at that point. She may have been saying it in an egoic way. I know she was meaning it like very egoic, all that type of stuff. Like, I'm better, whatever. But in a way, I was thinking, like, you're right. Why on earth are we sitting here worshiping these people? We don't know them from Adam beyond their talent that they're showing us, their talent. But what about their character? And you're right. I should be worshiping myself. I should recognize that I am the star. And you know what really makes us the real stars? And that's now the divine matrix. The real stars now are the ones who are doing this powerful work, the light workers. The light workers are the stars.
Yeah.
The ones who are living in their hearts and their souls, because those are the way showers. Those are the leaders of the new earth, not the leaders of other people. I want to be clear on that. Because we're meant to be following ourselves. But we're the leaders. We're the way showers. We're the front runners of the new earth, because we're showing people, how it's done through frequency, through love, through light, so that they can also be that light in their own life. But yes, we are the stars. And I love what you said too, Indigo, about like, it's even like, it's dismantling, because you're right. A lot of people aren't. I mean, the celebrity worship still very much exists, because I see it in real time. I'm even like just shocked how people even still follow people like the Kardashians, or like you said, Kanye West. Like, I should see 0 followers. Like, if I go to his page, I should see 0 followers, but there's still millions, right? So it's letting me know that there's something ain't right here, right? How could you support that, But we are the stars. And even seeing now how social media, what I do like about social media is that I'm seeing regular people, so-called regular people, who you would never, know of. Now they're becoming famous, or the stars, even if they're not spiritual. What I do like is that people are now having this opportunity, even from YouTube. Indigo, Indigo grew a pretty successful YouTube channel through her heart, but she was able to be highlighted and get in those algorithms. And that's what I do like, is that now we're starting to realize, like, there's so many other amazing people out here than these people that we're being fed to follow, to watch.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen on YouTube, like, come out more. Like, people want authenticity. When we were building our channel, when we were doing all our research, I was seeing that people want authenticity. People want people that are being authentic and themselves. And, it doesn't even matter if you have the perfect lighting or this, just show up being yourself and in your heart. And that is what, since I saw that, since I saw a lot of the videos saying that, I'm like, wow, like, and us being in alignment with our videos, it's just in perfect alignment to what we're bringing out. So, but I also wanted to say thank you, Wind, because you have been my mentor for so many years now. And right now I'm recognizing, wow, how much I've shifted and how much I've learned from you, but you've always taught me, go within. And that's the real leader, go within to yourself. Does this feel right, Kim? Or look at this, and just wanted to say I'm so thankful, because I'm even starting to take a step back and look at the bigger picture within my life and how much you've showed me, and to the level where I'm at now. Just so thankful and grateful.
Oh, thank you, love. Thank you. And I always say that I can only, you can only guide people or help people as much as they want to be helped.
Mhm.
So with you, Kim, you wanted to, I can tell this to somebody else and it's like talking to a wall, but you had it within you to be able to discern. And guess what? We all have mentors. We all had people who helped us see the light. I've had many people, and I've always been my own greatest mentor, but I've always was attracted to like people who thought outside the box, people who broke the mold, people who were independent thinkers, people who could see through these delusions. I was always attracted, and that sparked something within me, but that's how it works. We all spark something within each other. And I always say, even Master Yeshua had mentors.
Yes.
Yes.
Mentors, that some of the greatest masters on this planet. Kuan Yin had a mentor,
Yes.
Mother Mary had mentors,
Yes.
It's necessary, but the mentors, a true guide is, like you said, to guide us back to ourselves. So yes, we're the stars. We're the stars. True leaders create other leaders, right?
Yes.
And that's the paradigm shift that we're moving out to with even the celebrity worship, is we're no longer looking up to these people as being above us. Actually, they have nothing that we should even be, to be honest, looking up to, beyond their talent maybe, or beyond their work ethic in terms of putting themselves out there. I can respect that, like I was even telling you, I may not go to a Beyonce concert, but I do respect that Beyonce shows up and she puts in that work and she makes them hits. I can respect that, but beyond that, no, I can't support nothing else, because I can see past those illusions, So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Let us talk about religion and how the illusions within that space shows up in the world, in our realities, what may appear to be our reality.
Through my experience as growing up as a Catholic, and my parents making me go to church, I just never resonated with anything that they were talking about. I never understood what they were talking about. I could just never I remember being like maybe 12, 13 and like having to donate to the church and having like everyone passing around the donations, right? Like I just never understood it. And it just caused, and also growing up, like seeing so many people that were Catholic, but they weren't being good people. Like you were going to church, but you weren't being good to your neighbor, or you would go home and sit at the table and everyone's talking about another person being mean to another person. I could never like understand like why there was so much hate in religion. If we're supposed to be like beings of love and goodness, and me experiencing it, people not doing the opposite of that, I just never understood it growing up, honestly. And that's why I never resonated with, because I was like, this is not from love. You're a Catholic and you're over here talking about, how big this person is, how big that person is, or how much you hate this person. I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's just, now I'm starting to know it's like, I was so woke just being so young.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, through my experience in religion and just seeing past all the false and the fakeness and the having to praise someone, you have to praise yourself. I would say that has been my experience with growing up as a Catholic.
That's a good point. Yeah, just seeing the fake energy, right, of the people.
Fake energy, yes.
Yeah. Me. Well, I do want to start off too, really quick, with religion. Again, going back to the words, because we need to know the words that we're speaking and where they come from. Religion actually comes from a word that means to bind and to control. So again, I'm not just making this up. Look it up yourself. The actual word religion comes from the Latin word meaning to bind and to control. Let that sink in. Religion, the problem with a lot of religion, and we kind of seen this too as a collective on a mass scale, especially with like sentiments, not even sentiments, experiences people have had with like the Pope. He's one of the biggest religious leaders of the world, especially in the Christian community. allegations of sexual molestation of young boys, young children. When we also look at all these other religions, they're in it for profit. It's one of the only systems that are nonprofit. They don't have to pay taxes. And again, look at the state of the people that are coming in to see these preachers or to see these imams or to see, I forget the name of the Jewish leaders to go into the synagogues. Look at the state of the people. Well, maybe not Jews, because a lot of them have money, and that's another story. But when you look at the Christians and you look at the Muslims, a lot of the people who are coming, and you see this especially too, just side note, in Black culture, in Black people culture, when they go to the church, the ones who are making the most money, the Black people are poor at the very bottom. They're poor, they're struggling, they're suffering, they're dealing with all kind of, depression, just whatever, single motherhood, broken homes, broken families. But that preacher, he pulling off in a Rolls Royce. He's pulling off, and you can actually even see that in white. Like, what's the big white name? Girl, jets, mansions. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that makes you that person, but just connect the dots. The people that you are so-called teaching the gospel to, the people that you're so-called, helping, they're still struggling while you're rich and you're riding off into the sunset in your jet and in your, your Phantom or whatever you're in, whatever. Right.
I got it. It was the Mormon church.
The Mormon. Oh, girl, the Mormon too. That's the whole polygamy. A lot of those women have been through cultish things in that family, in those Mormon families. A lot of just very horrible ways of the family dynamics of treating people. And again, also too, in religion, it's this hierarchy of the male. There's devoid of the female. It's devoid of the feminine. It's a masculine God. Where's the feminine essence of God in religion? So, I mean, again, religion, that's a whole nother podcast for itself.
Seriously. Within itself, because it goes deep. This one question right here. But you know what I wanted to mention? There's a few things that were coming through for me as you were speaking, Lynn. One, just to kind of like expound a little bit more, last night I'm at work and there's a patient that definitely has some mental health issues, long term, and had nowhere to go, and was saying that she would basically leave the hospital and break into the church for her to be able to sleep, right? So she's like, just, give me my knife, let me go break into the church. That's where I'm going to go sleep. And then I was thinking, and I said it out loud, I said it to a couple of nurses and the secretary, and I said, that's sad that so many people are paying tithes and offerings every week, every Sunday, they will give their last. So much hope and faith that there will be some type of reciprocity, some type of return. And the church was there, no place for people who are stuck on the streets, have nowhere to go, maybe have housing insecurities in any way, no place where like people to come and eat, you know what I'm saying? Get a hot meal, no place, you know what I'm saying? These huge, big churches. And like you said, the pastors, they're riding off in their jets and Rolls Royces and got their nice designer clothes and shoes from the people's money that they're putting in as a reciprocity. How would you give back? How do you give back for those who are making sure that all your bills are paid? You're full of all this abundance. How are you giving back to those people besides just lip service?
Yeah, because yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, because how are you struggling? How are your people struggling? But you're thriving or seemingly thriving, right? Seemingly, because again, we already know on a spiritual level they're broke.
Obviously, clear reflection. If you are thriving, your people who are in the church listening to you should be thriving the same.
Sorry about that.
It shouldn't be that the people who go to your church don't have somewhere to go and sleep, to cover up in the cold with their children. That right there within itself makes you go a little bit deeper and think a little bit like, that's not making sense.
It doesn't make sense. Exactly. And that's another thing. I love that you said it doesn't make sense, because religious people are taught not to question anything. They're taught to just accept.
Yes. And what did that get
for them?
Where did that get us not questioning in religion? That literally participating in demonic acts of eating body and drinking blood.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense to their minds. That have to go to
yes, but God forbid I pull an oracle card. I'm evil. I'm evil. But you're drinking flesh. You're drinking blood and eating flesh. But the dog is evil. I'm evil.
Right. Come on now, sis. Come on now.
Yes.
Seriously, and no one questions it. They're just like, oh, I need my communion. I got it. I have to eat the flesh and drink the blood. Worshiping how someone was brutally murdered. That was murder.
Yep. It's mockery. It's literal mockery, and it's reenactment and it's cannibalism. Quite frankly,
literally,
it's cannibalism.
I asked someone. I said, why would you want to remember Jesus, Yeshua, in that way? Right? Why is it like so fixated on being nailed to the cross? That is like constantly relived in our minds, in our psyches, in the programming over and over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't make sense. If we're coming from really a place of love, that wasn't fair to do to somebody who was doing the Lord's work. Oh, but he's his life for us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't get me started on that lie. Even sacrificing, a lot of Christians use that as an excuse to do wrong. Oh, Jesus died for my sins, so I can just sin it up. I can just treat people bad. I can fornicate. I can drink. God says not to judge. All the meanwhile, they're judging the hell out of everybody in the church, judging other people. Oh, God says, and there's too much contradiction, too much hypocrisy in religion. Not just Christianity. We're using that as an example. It's in all of them. Me, I grew up Muslim. I got to see it firsthand, the hypocrisy. My dad actually was equivalent to what Christians would call a preacher. My dad was an imam. So I got to see even that misogyny in the mosque, and how even in women were meant to pray in the back and men were meant to pray in the front, and how women had to cover all the way up. And it may sound good. They say, oh, be, modest and cover up and all that. Meanwhile, these men are lusting at every other woman that's showing her behind outside. It's very hypocritical. And even I got to see how other women were jealous of my mom trying to compete with her for her husband. It's just it was just a whole, excuse my language, it was a shit show. Okay. But it's supposed to be, love and light. Like, they talk a good game, but again, look around. What I always say, look around, look at the condition of the people. Look at the condition of the people, look at the character of the people. So religion, like I said, a whole, literally could be a whole podcast in itself.
Yes. Yeah, I remember very early on, and you mentioned this, like, anything that tries to like kind of take you away from your own, like trusting yourself, your intuition, your own knowing is always leading you in the wrong direction. You need to question it. So from a very young age, I went to a Christian middle school, right? And we would have devotion. And because I was so conscious from a very young age, I would be the one who says, we reading this verse right here, and you say this mean that, but when I'm reading it, I think it means something else. It's just resonating different with me. And then they seen that as me challenging the pastor. And I'm like, I'm not challenging. I'm actually just questioning. Like, because for me, when I read this, this says, something else. And then no, it just means this. And I'm like, but why would it mean that? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I literally got punished. I had to write Bible verses over and over and over, like 100, 200 times or something, because I questioned.
Yep. Yep. God for anything that you're not allowed to question, and they try to browbeat you into you, because it's a form of bullying and abuse. Actually, a lot of abuse happens in these religious sectors, and it's unfortunate because and that is a form of like psychological abuse. I'm not allowed, and again, it keeps you from speaking your truth, right? Now we have the inner child wounding happening.
Yeah,
just from religion.
So important.
Now my throat chakra, was closed up. I had to do a lot of work on my throat chakra too. Still doing work on my throat chakra. It's deep.
So but what I realized in that moment. Well, now I'm realizing is that a lot of those pastors who had went through the educational system of theology were also programmed. And my question at that time, from a conscious younger child standpoint, he wasn't able to understand what I was saying. He wasn't able to resonate with that frequency I was on in the moment of seeing beyond in an expanded way. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that he was just, part of it is also just the control, but also not knowing for themselves, just kind of regurgitating the information how they were taught. This is just it, but they didn't allow themselves to think a little bit further or create a sense of understanding and knowing within themselves.
Yeah, exactly. They're so disconnected from themselves. How could they?
Yeah,
they're disconnected. So and the guy's name, I just had to look him up. His name is Joel Osteen. Even him, I remember there was like some type of flood or something, or a hurricane where his major church is. And I remember there was a lot of backlash because he locked the church up. He said, "Y'all, I'm not letting these homeless people up in my church." He said, "I don't want it, girl." Even in the church, when he finally opened it up because of all the backlash and they were interviewing him, he was looking around at the people like, ugh. It was almost like you could feel he was looking down on them, like, ugh. Dirty people are in my church. Mind you, these dirty people are the same ones who are making you rich.
Yeah.
And these people, and they're suffering and needing a place to stay. But it just showed he did not automatically say, let's open the church, let's feed these people, let's shelter these people. He literally had to go through backlash in order to open the church. And people still were following him.
So what about, classism and racism and sexism? How does that show up in the illusions of that?
Yeah. Well, for one, the fact that, again, it creates division. There are differences, yes, culturally. Yeah, there are differences in our ethnic groups. And there is some, but the fact that there's a racial hierarchy, the fact that there's a sex hierarchy, again, male over female, white over black, white over Mexican even, but white, and then what's the other one? We were talking about classism. Yes, rich over poor, right? All of these different things.
Middle class, upper class. So many different things to say. Duality, differences,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that alone shows you that this is a false matrix, because in the golden age, in the divine matrix, there is oneness. We can appreciate different cultures. We can appreciate our differences and come together. There's still mutual respect. There's love for one another. That's one of the main reasons why I love to travel, is because I love to experience different cultures and experience it. But what also saddens me, when I do travel, I do see the hierarchy everywhere I go.
Yes.
Everywhere I go. And I'm just like, this is disgusting. Even when I just came back from Curacao, Again, there was this energy there from the European population. And again, I want to be clear, this is not a bash on white people or anything. It just is what it is. Because as we all know, there's beautiful white people. There's beautiful people and there's bad black people or whatever you want to say. Anyways, y'all get what I'm saying. So don't let it go over your head. Going to all these different countries, you see the dominant group. And they have, again, their nose up, looking down on the indigenous people of that. And I look at the people who are the real people of that land. What are they doing? They're serving these people. They're serving the colonizers. They're serving them. While these people are living it up in their land, these people are struggling and barely have money to feed. So again, that's the false matrix. This is not how it's supposed to be. We should all be thriving. Nobody should be higher than. Everywhere I go, I see that hierarchy, and it literally disgusts me. I'm just being honest, being real. It literally disgusts me, because I know that's not how it's supposed to be. If I go to Hawaii, I see the indigenous Hawaiian people. They're at the bottom of the social totem pole in their own country, their own land. No matter where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, like, some of the experiences that I've had, traveling with you, Wendy, the way that I've seen you being treated, and the fact that, like, it's just been so eye-opening for me to learn and to be informed and to have more awareness. But it's just been so disheartening to have some of those experiences and seeing the way that you've been treated when we travel. And it's so sad. It's just so sad. And we need to do better.
She's seen some of those racist, we're in the airport, just to kind of give y'all some context. Were we in Bali, or was it going to Bali, or where were we at?
We're in Bali, heading home from Bali.
Yeah, and they just like, I'm the only black person in the security line, and they're just extra checking me, right?
They're checking the sandal, like they were checking the sandal for drugs. I said,
and the guy was like, remember how he said, I've never seen.
Yes, the guy that was working at the airport, he's like, he's like, why do they treat you like that? I've never seen that happen before. And he was just so wrong, this is so wrong. Yeah. And I remember you were telling him, right? Like, remember he was saying, like, he was looking up to his masters, and you're like, you're your own master. Remember? Or what did he say? Yeah, it was just so funny when he's like, you're right. I am my own master, you help them awaken,
Right? Yeah.
Experience, but yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that experience, and it broke my heart, but it's a chance to speak up too. Even I said, you want to test me? You want to test my shoe? I'm with her.
Yeah, but F that. We shouldn't be testing it. Why am I the only one being? It was so obvious. I'm the only black person. But even beyond that, those little things. Besides that, we have a great time. It's not like we're going out to countries and I'm experiencing racism everywhere I go. For the most part, I have a great time. But those little situations, you can still notice them, and you can say like, But then again, look around at the people. People, even you being Mexican, you being in Mexico. Look at how even those people are being treated, especially the indigenous Mexicans.
Yeah.
And even the racism in all cultures, even there's a hierarchy in Mexican culture too, there's the lighter Mexicans and then the darker Mexicans, but it goes everywhere, the original, because there's black Mexicans, just like there's black Dominicans and black Puerto Ricans or whatever. There's a hierarchy in even all these Latin countries.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So moving on.
So let's go into the illusions in science. So, like even being in healthcare and using evidence-based practices, right, are science, things that have been studied over time to say this is the proper practice or the right way to do this. First of all, nobody's the same. No two people are the same. We are all individual beings. Our bodies work in an individual way. Yes, there may be certain groups that may have things in common, but you have to work with your body. How does your body react to boom. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can do the same thing the same exact way, expecting the same exact results. It just does not work like that.
Exactly.
But there's times in even the system that I work in where something would be evidence-based and we would be like, yeah, you have to do it this way. That's evidence-based practice. But then in a couple of years, we're not doing that anymore because it's no longer supported based off of evidence. So just realize that science is the study of, right? So anything that's ending in ology is the study of that. So they're studying in it, and through their study and their hypothesis, they're able to make a theory that boom, 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 this is that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not just 100% ever. Science is not 100%. It's constantly changing, and we have to be open to the changes with it. Yes, it's amazing that we can study something and get this insight, this information, this awareness, consciousness of it to try to make sense in our mind, because science is really the humans trying to make sense of something that we don't really understand. So once we realize not to be so caught up or stronghold on what science says and realize that that can change over time, then we will be able to push back that illusion of what science is, because some people are just so like strong-minded about this is science and this is it, you know? But honestly, you got to use your discernment in that as well.
Exactly. And a lot of those experiments are so controlled, you know, and we don't really know what's really going on in all of those experimentations. Yes, and as we know from even history, you know, so-called science has, you know, they say that we came from monkeys and apes, you know, that we should all know that's been debunked, and that's absolutely not true. Or the Big Bang Theory, you know, that like the universe just came from just a random Big Bang. Okay, that's absolutely not true. And even junk DNA, right? They say our DNA is junk.
Most of the DNA is junk DNA.
Yeah, they say 90% of our DNA is junk. But ask yourself this: do you think the divine who created us, mind you, these scientists didn't create us, would create DNA that's junk? That doesn't even make any sense. And even that's been debunked. Or there used to be where the world thought the planet was completely flat, until they
oh my God,
flat Earth, you know. So it just goes to show that science, like Indigo was saying, it keeps evolving and people keep rediscovering in truth, and it's still a limited like science can't even keep up with even the quantum knowledge, or even and what they think is pseudoscience, you know, even though their science has been proven to be the real pseudoscience, because a lot of it is theory. A lot of it is theory that we've accepted as truth. Even, you know, the Darwin theory and all these other different theories from these different scientific leaders, you know, again, whole nother rabbit hole, but still we got to learn to think for ourselves. Yes. And I also work from the philosophy and mentality that I need to see it for myself. I need to experience it for myself. And I take what resonates and I leave the rest. And we were just having this conversation yesterday. It's also okay to say, I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. To just listen and take what resonates, but also being open to say, like, you know what? I could not be right. I may not be right. You know? But a lot of science, another thing I want to say before we segue is that a lot of scientific research is backed by major corporations and major companies. They're paying for this scientific research. So there's a conflict of interest there, because the people who they're paying to do the scientific research, mind you, I'm saying scientific research, it's to conclude, to fit their agenda, to fulfill their agenda. So
I just want to say, like, be your own science experiment. We should be our own science experiment. You know, we should be trying to tap into what they call the junk DNA within ourselves to study that, the study of our junk DNA, the study of our mind, the study of our soul, the study of our bodies and how it reacts to certain things, how it reacts when you eat a certain grain or a certain fruit, a certain vegetable. How does that make you feel? Study yourself.
Yeah.
Study
Exactly.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be your own scientist as well.
Yes.
In your science experiment. I love that. Love that
Yes.
so much. That's a good one. Yes.
Yes.
Become your own and ask questions and don't be afraid to what's the word, to refute information that does not sit well with you, or to the word is, it's not about going back and forth or debating anybody. It's not about any of that. It's just ask the questions and use discernment. And if something still is not resonating with you, or something still is not being answered clearly and concisely, you can still say, I'm going to look more into that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Do my own research. So
yeah, it goes back to what I said in the beginning: believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the illusions about like in surface level relationships, and that's including all dynamics: family dynamics, intimate partnerships, friendships, co-workers, work husbands, all that.
Work wives, work side chicks, work side men. Relationships go deep. And I just want to say quickly, I do have my own podcast on where I did a whole segment on the relations in relationships, where I really break down the different relationships. And what I do want to talk about really quickly, so check that out if you haven't, and I'll link that down below in our podcast so you can check that out. But there's a Coca-Cola relationship in all relationships, and there's a water relationship. And I got this from one of my YouTube mentors named Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters. If you haven't subscribed to him, check him out. He's pretty dope. But I loved when he said there's a Coca-Cola relationship and there's the water relationship. And this is in every relationship. Coca-Cola being the toxic relationship, water being the healthy, nourishing, revitalizing relationship. So when I look at the family dynamics specifically, a lot of us have been, born into families that, are broken. And a lot of us, especially if you're a light worker or a spiritual person, you may be the black sheep of the family, the outcast. And again, every family dynamic is different. So just again, take what resonates and leave the rest and just focus on what's relative to you. But notice in your family if there has been any favoritism, or has there been any toxic ways within the family that are secrets. That's a big thing in the family. Family secrets are things that have been hidden or swept under the rug, especially when it comes to things like sexual abuse or anything of that sort. Notice your family dynamics. And they say, they have a saying that says blood is thicker than water. But I always say, who has water running through their veins anyway? To me, the blood that's thicker is the one who is the most loving. My soul family. So you can have soul family in your actual family, and that's beautiful. But just because they're your actual family, if they're not respecting you, if they're not truly loving you, if they're not being there for you, you don't have to try to force a relationship with them just because they're family, just because you were born into that family. I want to be very clear on that. To me, in any relationship, it takes two to tango. But a lot of times we think that we have to be loyal to family members that are not loyal to us. There's no other way to put it, that are not loyal to us. And that is not the way it goes. A lot of times we're born into certain families specifically to fulfill a soul mission, a soul contract mission. So that's very important to distinguish when it comes to families. But honestly, this goes for any relationship. Respect works both ways. Love, loyalty works both ways. But specifically with family, a lot of us light workers, and I used to do this, have this undying loyalty to my family, but they kept using me and kept disrespecting me and kept not valuing me. And I had to learn to speak up and say, no more. No more. Either you're going to respect me and love me and value me, or I'm just going to love you from a distance. It's really that simple.
Yes.
You covered that one, but yeah, even through just my experience, it's goes so close to my heart. I don't have a big family, but the family that I do have, like just being really young, and for me, it's always like standing up for what's right. Like if family members aren't standing up to what's right when people are being abused, when there's
Yes.
sexual abuse going on, and when people aren't standing up to what's right, it's like I can no longer talk to you. I no longer want to be in your field of energy at all. There's no type of relationship that I can have with somebody that doesn't stick up for what's right, especially abuse. So
Yes.
yeah, I don't have that much close family at all. I don't have that many friends anymore, just because I could see past the illusions of people using me, using the energy that I have, the love that I have, and people not sticking up for what is right and what is the truth. Because it's like, it can be so in your face, like abuse, right? You're not going to stick up to abuse, then
Exactly.
you're not somebody I want to be around.
The people we were born to be like sharing blood with, right? Not always is our family. Your family can be a family. If you're really family, that person loves you, that person's supportive, that person is more than just a relative. We share the same blood. We can be related, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's relatives and then there's family. Family
Yes.
doesn't have to share the same blood as you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Soul family.
That's the real family.
You meet them and y'all just click. Y'all locked in from the moment y'all meet each other.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And family, that's what family is. Relatives can, just like any relationship, not just in that dynamic of, sharing blood, sharing DNA, but relationships are meant to, like you said, it's like fulfilling a soul contract. It's meant to help you to expand in a way. So therefore, we may be like, a lot of the light workers be like black sheep in the family, because, or in our connection with our relatives, because it's meant to fulfill it comes with certain challenges to help us to grow and
Yep.
to realize that just because we share the same blood does not mean that me and you are family. If you treat me any type of way, if you can abuse me sexually, you can, not only sexual, physical,
Mental. Yep.
mental, emotional,
Yep.
that we're not family. You're doing that. We're not family. We're
Yeah.
related. We're related. We share the same blood, same DNA in the family bloodline. And it stops right there.
Yep. I love that you said that distinguishment from relatives to family. It's true. Because how could you call me your family? Family is such a sacred, precious word. And that's why for me, having soul family is the real family. Whether that means my relatives are a part of that or even beautiful sisters like you.
Yes.
My soul tribe is my real family, because that is that's like the star seed family. And that, again, that goes, we'll talk about that at another time. But the soul tribe family, those are the ones that's going to be there through you, through thick and thin. And again, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be conflict or any of that, but you can work through it. There's going to be accountability. There's going to be a desire for harmony. There's going to be a desire for respect for one another. Yes. That is the distinguishment. There's going to be a desire to, like, I want this person to succeed and to win as much as I want myself to succeed and to win. Yes. And that is the distinguishment. But specifically with family, because a lot of us feel like we have to be so loyal to our family to the point of martyrdom, where we're becoming like the sacrificial lamb for the family. And no, we're not meant to sacrifice ourselves for anybody. Absolutely not.
Intimate relationships can be beautiful. they can be very beautiful, but they can also be very challenging. Soulmates, twin flames, karmics, you know, there's so many, now we label them with so many different things, but also some of these, you know, if we talk about past lifetimes and things like that, we're coming back to like pay certain debts, even out certain karma, and maybe, you know, play different roles in this lifetime in different ways, right? So you may find like a kindred spirit or someone who you just kind of like meet and you're just like, why does it feel like we knew each other before? Why do I know what to say before you even say it? And I just met you, you know? And in an intimate way, in an intimate partnership, it can be beautiful. It can be expansive. And even in the challenging ones where there may be toxicity, it's still expansion. I can say personally from one of my relationships, my longest relationship was 7 years. And there were so many challenges, ups and downs, and a lot of beauty, but a lot of challenges in there for me. And I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, you know, I prayed for my husband, but this, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It was
yes.
like energy, but I was challenged so much in that relationship. But you know what? From that relationship, I found me.
Yes.
I got so much closer to the truth of me. I started to give myself the self-love. That relationship initiated that process for me to go deeper into my journey, my evolution within myself. Because I no longer was trying to please my partner that I was in an intimate relationship with, do everything to try to please that person that could never be pleased. I pleased myself. I was myself. I meditated. I took some time to love myself. I gave myself what I needed. And eventually the relationship dissolved. And I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't trying to force it to stay together. It just is what it is. We no longer vibing on the same frequency, and it's time to just let me go ahead and fly away.
To me, one of the biggest illusions of the intimate relationship is that we need somebody else to complete us in order to be whole, in order to feel complete, in order to feel even loved. We need an intimate partner. And that is, to me, one of the biggest illusions and lies that we have ever been told, especially, I would say, for women, especially women, because women have been taught since little girls, like, to fantasize about getting married and having a family, and all of that is, again, beautiful. Love that. I think everybody who wants that should experience it. I want that. And what I will also say is the issue, the biggest, problem with all of that is that a lot of us feel incomplete, or we feel a void, or we feel lonely if we don't have a partner, or if we feel like we're in a relationship, but it's not the dream partner that we're meant to be with. Every cycle of life, whether you're single or with the wrong partner or with the right partner, is necessary for your growth. Is necessary. Yeah. So the biggest illusion is that, but no matter what stage you're in, whether it's the single stage or the toxic partner stage, or even the toxic single stage, I should say that too, because some people are toxic by themselves, or the healthy relationship stage, which means that, again, doesn't mean that there's not going to be problems, but you are able to work through them, maturely, with respect, love, etc., and grow together. No matter what stage, you're complete and whole as you are. And that's the illusion of seeking another relationship. And that's why so many relationships fail. And that's why so many relationships have that void, is because there's still that, I need you to make me feel complete. I need you to make me feel important. And it's a lie.
Yeah. And the fact that, we think love is something that we get from outside of ourselves.
Yep.
That's the biggest illusion when it comes down to intimate partnership, because we're thinking, oh, I want to marry my husband and they're going to love me and da-da-da-da. but you have to love yourself. You can't love anyone else if you don't love yourself.
Nope. Sure can't. And it goes back to the mirror again. If you're still looking for love outside of yourself, you're going to only mirror a very superficial love, or a love that's not really real anyway. Do you have anything to say about that, Kim?
I was just thinking, like, you know, in my relationship, because I've been in a relationship for 12 years with my love, and you know, I established this like 5 years ago with him in regards to we can only continue to love each other and grow if you find your own happiness within yourself, and I find my own happiness within myself. And once I establish that, it's like our relationship continues to flourish and grow. And that's been my experience with loving myself in my relationship, and knowing that, you know, God forbid anything would happen, I would still be happy with myself and cherish all the moments that we had together. But I established that like 5 years ago in my relationship, and it's been honestly a game changer, because we come together and build this force of happiness together, you know, with his happiness and my own happiness. So that's all I could say in regards to my experience with my relationship.
Yeah, because again, it goes back to being whole individual, and two whole people coming together are going to naturally pour. We don't have to talk about in lower vibrational relationships when you bring in the conversation of 50-50 and what do people bring to the table, nonsense, already throw it out the window, throw it in the trash, because we're not coming from a place of wholeness and oneness. Because naturally, you give 100%, I'm going to give 100%.
Right.
You know? It naturally flows. We don't have to talk about roles. It comes natural, especially if you're in a feminine, masculine position. And I'm talking about in terms of that relationship dynamic coming together, whether you're gay or heterosexual, whatever. The feminine and masculine coming together, everybody's going to play their role naturally. Naturally, because they're giving their 100% of their love. There is no more, what do you bring to the table? If I have to hear any of that, it's automatically a no for me.
Yep.
Because you should see what I bring to the table. I am the table. What you talking about? Are you the table?
Two come together in a balance. I'm balancing my masculine and feminine, and they're balancing their masculine and feminine. Oh, that is revolutionary. That is life-changing. That is world-shaking. That is pushing through the veil. That is expansive in ways that we can't even really comprehend, because we don't really see it. We see dominant male that's like, I'm the macho male and I have to take out the garbage and gender roles. You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about natural energy flow. Natural energy flow. You're right. Masculine and feminine coming together as whole, because that wholeness is the masculine and feminine whole.
Right. Absolutely. Two wholes come together. Yes.
Absolutely. That is the truth. Absolutely. And yeah, we're not even talking about gender roles. I'm talking about your natural divine signature will be complementary with each other. You know, will naturally complement each other. The person that's meant for you in the water relationship is going to complement you very well. Going to complement you very well. It's going to, because we all have different desires and we also have different ways we want to experience relationship, but it will be complementary. And again, you'll be coming in as a whole. And when I say the masculine and feminine coming together, because polar opposites do attract, yes, we all have masculine and feminine, but somebody will be coming in as the masculine in the feminine role. That's how it comes together naturally. Indigo talked about this really good on the last podcast. The men need to be men and the women need to be women. You know, we're talking about feminine being feminine, and men need to be the providers and the protectors. Absolutely. But also women provide in different ways too. We're nurturers. We're providing that intuitive guidance.
Naturally.
You know? Naturally. That's our divine blueprint.
Yeah.
We can't go against that. You know, it's not about gender roles. What's your divine blueprint? There's a reason why men are stronger than the women. It doesn't mean even too that women can't take out the trash if they want to. We're not
Right.
saying that, we're not saying that a woman can't build or whatever, but naturally you're going to complement each other naturally. And everybody's going to know, I don't even want to say their roles. Everybody's going to know exactly what to do, how to do it, how to be it, just because you're coming together as whole and you're giving 100%. There's no ego involved.
How about the illusions in friendships in our peer groups?
Big one. And Kim's laughing.
Go ahead.
I only have 3 friends now, so.
We'll talk about the illusions that led you to,
through like my experience, like growing up and having like a big group of friends or friends that only, it's not a 100% and 100% relationship. It was always like me giving 80% or that person only giving 20%, friendships that weren't feeding me soulfully, friendships that we're only thinking about partying and drinking and doing things that weren't nourishing the soul. So like, and always also cliquish relationships that I was in when I was in high school, just seeing through those illusions and how it was always just so fake, people talking behind people's backs, people not including everyone, people not being nice to other people, growing up and being in high school and even in an adult relationship, like those relationships that are just not from love, if we're not helping each other grow, if we're not feeding each other's souls, if we're not doing the right thing and listening to each other and being there as a sister with each other, then I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything that doesn't come from love. And in the relationships and the friendships that I have now, which is only like 3 people, the relationships I have come from love and help me grow and nourish my soul and help me expand my consciousness. We're not just stuck in a box, we're always looking to further our knowledge, further in our spirituality, further in our experience, and continuing to go deep within. So compared to the relationships and friendships that I have now to the ones that I had before, it's a 360 change, like I said, if it's not coming from we're being healthy, we're supporting each other, we're having joy, we're doing things that are fun, in a healthy way, not always having to be out drinking at the club or drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't want anything to do with that. It wrecks your nervous system, even being around that energy, and I've seen the way that it wrecked me in the past. So compared to the relationships I had before that were, not authentic, not from love, to the relationships that I have now, it's been a complete 360 change. I'm just so grateful that I've been able to awaken to this point where I want relationships that are going to help me evolve and grow and be in joy and in love. So I think that's just through my experience, what I've noticed.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Growing up, I didn't have much friends because growing up in a Jamaican household, we don't do walipa friends. The walipa friend thing that just don't exist for us because we're more close with family. We very close when it came down to family, and we seen, or unconsciously for me, because I didn't understand why my mom was like, you don't have a whole heap of friends and stuff, I've always been close to my family, my cousins, we were really close growing up. So I didn't really have that dynamic with friendship. But as I grew older, I was able to experience it for myself and see to why in some ways it's limited, where they're like, don't have a whole bunch of friends and things like that. But I was able to see why they were teaching me that from a very young age, because not everybody has the purest intention. You know, some people are actually befriending you for different reasons, their own personal reasons, right? And it may not be, like Kim said, from a place of love, you know, it may just be convenience. It may just be, you know, I like spending time with you because it gives me a way to get away from myself. I know I'm guilty of going out, experiencing experiences with friends and not really being responsible for what I needed to go within on, you know, kind of like escaping through having a friend to say I can go out with, you know. But honestly, with those type of friendships, they didn't last long. None of them ever lasted long, and they would just kind of like dissolve in its own way, which sometimes I would never even know how it dissolved in the first place. It's not like it was conflict. It just would just frequency no longer matching, and it just kind of, we go separate ways, or we don't talk anymore. You know, we stop calling each other so frequently, and then that once every week conversation then became once every month to now we don't even talk anymore. We maybe talk maybe once a year, and it's no bad blood, bad feelings towards the person. It just, we're no longer aligned, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes those friendships can encourage shadows within ourselves. Layla, you mentioned that there is like the Coca-Cola relationship, and then the water. The water is transparent. It's gonna give you that harsh truth, even if you want to hear it or not, because it's from a place of love. It's from a place of transparency. It's from a place of that consciousness is, I want the best for you. I want you to evolve. I want you to flow. I want you to grow, you know? When in those toxic friendships, it's just like, I'm not going to tell you the truth. I can see that you're doing self-destructive things and be right there with you. And I will never tell you to stop doing it, because if I tell you to stop doing it, I got to stop doing it for myself. And I want to keep doing these. I still want to pass some goals every just throwing that out there. But like, you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
To say, I see that you might be drinking a little bit more than you were before. Are you okay, sis?
Yeah.
You know, I think that you may need to like push it back a little bit, take a little break from it. Some people are not going to do that. They're not going to be able to even do it for us, because they can't do it for themselves. You know, participating in this destructive cycle that is our friendship is just basically built on.
Exactly.
So that's where, like, illusions can come in friendships and like peer groups, because you can kind of get caught up, and they say like friends of a feather friends.
Yeah, birds of a feather flock together.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Same thing, right? Friends of a feather.
What you're resonating on, that frequency that you're on, what you resonate with, you're going to attract friends, people, peer group that is on that same frequency. And if you dare to want something more and you bring it to that same group, if they're not ready for the same thing or want a change within their life, they're going to stay where they are, and then you're going to have to leave and find a different peer group to that's within your frequency to communicate or have community with, you know.
And that could also provoke jealousy in the other ones. When they see you evolving and wanting to do better, they could be jealous of that, you know.
Or you're the crazy one. Oh, she's the crazy one. She's the judgy one. She's the, you know, because you're trying to help a friend. You're then pointed as the crazy one because you're trying to help them out. You know, like you said with the drinking, like you present that to a friend and it's like, oh, you're being too judgy. You're being too much, you know?
Yeah. But they don't even know what judgment is. You're not looking down on them or talking bad to them. It's like, no, I'm concerned, you know? But that makes me, what'd you say?
I said, that's love.
Exactly. it reminds me, this is what I want to say about the illusions of friendship. You know, I'm realizing that for me, going past those illusions, I had to become friends with people who are a friend to themselves. You know, you have to be a friend to yourself. And what I notice about those people, like what you were saying, Kim, they try to make it out to you're the bad person, right?
Mm-hmm.
For trying to help them or trying to show love to them. It's because they're an enemy to themselves. So you become an enemy.
Yeah.
You know, when you're an enemy to yourself, then now I'm looked at as an enemy because I'm not feeding that lower nature of yourself. And so I'm realizing that I can only be friends with people who are friends to themselves because that's my frequency. Because I'm being a friend to myself and loving myself unconditionally. And I'm having standards. I'm having boundaries from a place of truth. I'm having higher expectations, not expectations from a point of like, you have to be a certain way to be my friend. No, you can be whatever you want to be. But it's tied directly into my standards in terms of what I deserve to experience. And I deserve to experience respect because I'm giving respect. I deserve to experience honor and value and celebration. And going back to even the water relationship, and I love that you said it, transparent and vulnerability. I love that you were able to correlate that with the water because, yeah, a healthy relationship in terms of sisterhood or brotherhood or any type of friendship, there's a transparency, there's a vulnerability, there's an ability to feel safe with that person and to break each other open.
Yeah.
Which can also be done in, of course, in intimate relationships or honestly any relationship that is willing to go there. But specifically in friendships and sisterhood and brotherhood, you know, all of that is very necessary. And what I also will say too is that true healthy relationships and friendships, they pour into each other. It's a reciprocal relationship. It's energetically reciprocal. It doesn't mean we have to talk every day or, you know, text every day or any of that, or even be around each other all the time. But there's still an energy exchange that feels like I'm valued, that feels like I'm watering this relationship. I'm pouring into this relationship. That's the only way relationships can grow and to strengthen. You have to water it. You have to pour into it. Not just, I'm not talking about like watering in terms of I have to give you something. No, it could be, it could be that, but time. I'm thinking about you. I'm honored. I miss you, you know, that type of thing, you know. We haven't seen each other in a while. Let's spend some time together, you know, that type of thing, you know. And again, also being able to have those uncomfortable conversations. If things come up that do not resonate or do not feel good, to have those conversations so you can work through it without and to recognize each other's heart ultimately. You know, whether we were right or wrong or we didn't have the best intentions, okay, let's move through that. Let's talk about it. You know, that's the water relationship. The Coca-Cola relationship, no, let's not talk about it. Let's be fake. Let's pretend, let's go along to get along. All the while there's a dissonance until it just blows up and then all hell breaks loose. So that's what I have to say about the sisterhood and the friendship. It's important, but you have to pour into each other. And again, common sense stuff, respect, honor, celebrate me. I'll celebrate you. Got to celebrate. My mom even always said that. She said, I don't go anywhere where I'm tolerated. I go where I'm celebrated.
The wisdom from our mothers. Yeah.
Right. It's true because they had to learn through the school of hard knocks like we did. And I also want to say too, it's quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. It's okay to have a lot of friends, but is it quality? Or are you just having a lot of friends just to look like some big girl group? You know? You know, very cliquish energy, but it's all fake.
Yeah, and I do want to just talk about the illusion, and then we can move on to the last part.
Yes, sure.
The illusions in friendship, not from my personal experience, but from what I've seen. Remember back, there was like a few years ago, there was the girl who went on a girls trip or went on a trip with her friends, and I don't remember her name. And then she ended up
Shanquella.
Shanquilla.
I'm so sad.
Yes. Sleep in peace, Shanquilla, for
Yes.
having that trust to go go to another country with a group of friends, but never get to come back, never able to see the light of day again from people who you called friends.
Yeah.
That right
That's true.
there is the ultimate example of an illusion in friendships.
Yep.
So
That's a great example.
laughing, kikiing in your face, acting like
Frenemies. Frenemies.
friends. That's the illusion, the frenemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true. And if we're being honest, for some of us, it could have happened to us if we didn't have that discernment and that intuition or play our
Absolutely.
cards right. Because
Mhm.
again, when people are secretly jealous of you, because that's what that came from, secret jealousy, some deep hatred, setting them up and baiting.
Mhm.
It could turn into that. Even a friendship that may have not started off volatile. But again, going down that, ignoring the signs, not having discernment, not addressing what needs to be addressed and then moving accordingly, depending on how that's addressed. And I want to re-emphasize ignoring the signs. That's the big one, ignoring the signs of
Mhm.
people's character. Sometimes too, we got to look at not only how people are treating us, how they treat other people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because if they can treat other people this way, they'll treat us that way,
Yep.
And
Mhm.
so paying
Yeah.
attention to all of that, because then now you're setting yourself up to possibly be in danger or get killed, like who Indigo brought up, our beloved Shanquella, may her soul rest in peace. Very unfortunate, but that was I see that actually as a very real thing that can happen to so many different women, even ourselves, if we
Mhm.
don't have that discernment, because we have people who, could be obsessed with us or jealous of us, and they're going down that downward spiral. All they need to do is catch you in a very vulnerable position, and now they're plotting on you and could possibly take you out.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
very true thing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
discernment is key. I'm paying attention to everything,
Yes.
never ignoring my intuition,
Mhm.
addressing what needs to be addressed. And sometimes with certain people, you can't even address it because their frequency is so low, their vibration is so low. It's just, don't even open up that can of worms. Just
Move
let
away.
it go. You got to have discernment too, and when to just be quiet and move in silence and just separate yourself.
Mhm. I like to just say noted,
No, right? Note it for all of us. Note it
Yeah.
for all of us, because it's a real thing. I see it honestly. I don't think there hasn't been one relationship I haven't seen, including my own, where that wasn't a possibility. If
Yeah.
there's jealousy or just some toxic, it could really turn ugly. It can
Mhm.
very much turn ugly. And I know we've all experienced to some degree, maybe women who were jealous of us, deeply jealous of us, or
Mhm.
obsessed with us in a very toxic way, that if we allowed that in our circle, it could turn into like a Selena. Like Selena's coming to me. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
she
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes,
Wow.
that's how Selena died.
Absolutely.
You
Oh,
know?
wow. Yeah. Great example. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah, it does. It can turn into obsession. It can turn into, yeah, destructive real quick. So yeah, that's why, like you mentioned, the importance of discernment and trusting our intuition, trusting ourselves to know what we know. Even if we may not have hardcore what we think evidence, we just have that spidey senses, our intuition, our feeling, our inner knowing. We got to trust that. And I think
Yes.
over time, as we, you know, not trust it, and then we continue to go, and then we see those are lessons as well. Those are the lessons that teach us that, hey, you knew this already. What you gotta
Yeah.
listen to yourself next time, and allows for us to trust ourselves, because
Yeah.
that's what it's about. Trust
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Trusting yourself and, You know, what's more important, your life, or, you know, keeping this friendship that, again, is not mutually wanting to work in harmony. That's necessary for a healthier any relationship. It has to both have to have a desire to work in harmony and to find solutions, you know. But some people just want to point the finger and say you're wrong, you're this, you're that, or project. A lot of times in those situations it's projection and whatever, you know. I know I've had the frenemies. I've had quite a few frenemies, and I'm very grateful that I was able to get out in time before it did turn into like a possible Shanquella situation.
Wow.
It's a very real thing. That's why that story definitely hit me very
Absolutely.
strongly.
And I'm grateful for the frenemies that have taught me the real lesson of not everybody is there for your best interest or your highest good, and that's okay. But now I know, now I can see these are feelings that don't need to go unnoticed, or you make a mental note of it, and then you shift either, you know what I'm saying, you lovingly, like you said, express what you see in a loving way, or you remove yourself. And sometimes that's just what you have to do, you know?
Yep. Sometimes, again, just that's why discernment and intuition is so key, which we'll talk about on another podcast on how to use your intuition and discernment. But, you know, it's so key because then you'll be able to discern who has the capacity to be able to have this conversation maturely and who isn't. And even if they're not truly able to have a conversation maturely, but also who could potentially be dangerous if I have this conversation with, because, you know, if you're dealing with somebody to that extreme where they could be dangerous and they may want to turn on you and put their hands on you and stuff, absolutely not. We have nothing to prove here when we're goddesses. We're not tussling and fighting. No, I'm just removing myself. I'm not dealing with that anymore at all. I'm not here to tussle and fight like I'm in, you know, y'all can find Clarissa Shields for that. And Remy Ma, not me. Remy Ma and Clarissa Shields can do the fighting, not me. I'm being a little messy, y'all. I'm being a little messy. The goddess way, we're not doing that. So yeah, no, we gotta have discernment. Honestly, a lot of things that we're saying applies to all relationships.
Yeah.
So whether it's a coworker, whoever, again, coworkers are just that. You know, you're there. Honestly, the way I look at it, you're there to make your money. But again, with coworkers, if there's a competition element, jealousy, you know, things that happen in the workplace, you know, it's like high school. Unfortunately, a lot of, you know, Kim was talking about her high school experience, but a lot of times adults are acting like high schoolers.
You're right.
Even in the workplace. You know, it's just, again, where's the respect? You know, we don't got to be best friends or anything, but just respect each other. And then if you don't, you got to if you're in those type of dynamics and the illusions of the workplace, which is already can be a volatile, very toxic work environment, just being in those corporations. But if you're dealing with coworkers who, you know, just people who are just not good people, right? You're dealing with that type of drama, you got to take the necessary steps to protect yourself. For one, don't engage with them. I'm the type, we recording stuff, you know, record if you have to. So it's not he say versus them or whatever, because I've dealt with that nonsense before. I actually had a guy, just a quick little story. I remember working at a job a long time ago where a guy was trying to talk to me and I literally didn't want to talk to him. And he went to HR and lied and said that I was harassing him. And I literally did not want to talk. He was trying to talk to me. Then because I rejected him, he literally brought his girlfriend up there to fight me at the job. Mind you, he had a girlfriend and was trying to talk to me. Yeah, but you see all the ghetto drama?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like he went to HR, lied and said I was harassing him. But all that's teaching me is when you start seeing that nonsense, start recording. Start creating a profile and, you know, something that can protect you and, you know, advocate for yourself, but don't engage with those type of people. Put protections around yourself when those illusions and you know, And sometimes if unfortunately, if it gets too bad, or let's say that person, that coworker is against you, or they have a clique or behind them that have some authority, you might just have to find a new job. That may just be the harsh reality. So,
I look forward to our future podcasts about the discernment and, how to strengthen that and what that looks like, and, going into that even further.
And so I hope you all like going over these illusions of the false matrix. So now you see how many systems, how deep the false matrix goes. Like it's deep. Like this is, see, this is a 3-hour. We can literally still keep going, but that was just us wrapping it up in a nutshell. But we still gave you all a pretty good gist of how the matrix works. And so quickly, the divine matrix. Let's talk about that to close out this podcast.
All right, we went into great detail of the divine matrix in our first episode of our podcast, which we will link in the description below and put the card up here for you to click and go and check it out even more. And we definitely spoke on it throughout this podcast as we were sharing about the illusions. We were talking about the divine matrix and how that looks. But just to kind of wrap it up, the divine matrix is about love. It's about coming from your heart space. It's about those divine qualities. What do you value? How are your connections? Are you appreciating, celebrating, like we said earlier, your friendships, your relationships, any type of relationships? Are you acknowledging the divinity within those in front of you that are mirroring to you? Are you taking accountability for your own actions? Are you, you know what I'm saying? Are you walking the walk? Are you talking the talk? Are you going within and living from the inside, the truth that's inside of you? Are you questioning and checking with yourself before just accepting something as being your truth, your reality? That's what the divine matrix is about. And we went in detail with it. So make sure you check that podcast out for sure.
Absolutely. In order to enter the divine matrix, the only way out is through. So you have to enter within yourself to get through the divine matrix or the false matrix, get through that to enter into the divine matrix, because everything is an inside job. This is an inside job. Okay. Ascension is an inside job. So nothing's more important than working on your mind, your body, your spirit. I'm going to continue to re-emphasize that over and over and over and over through all of our podcasts. Is your holistic health is so necessary to enter into the divine matrix. And like Indigo said, please look at our first podcast where we went deeper into that, and we'll go deeper into future podcasts, because it's time to now focus on fully anchoring in that golden age. Now that you all fully understand how the false matrix works and some of the dynamics of being in the false matrix, like what that looks like and what that feels like, which I'm sure you all can very much relate to that. For sure.
And
it's time to relate. Now it's time to relate to the golden age.
And it's a time to be radically honest with ourselves, being radically honest with ourselves and taking that accountability within. Because like you said, it's the only way in is to go in.
Yes. Thank you for reminding us. Accountability, radically honest. Where have we not been fully authentic? Where have we not also been a true friend ourselves? Where have we not been a true friend to ourselves?
Yes.
Where have we contributed to some of these systems of the matrix because of our own fears?
Yes.
Where have we been disloyal to what we love? Where have we been disloyal to our heart, to our souls? So where can we now be loyal? That's huge. Where can we now be more peaceful and be beacons of light, be beacons of peace in our lives? And that's what's going to speed us up into that divine matrix. Yes.
Mhm. And I just want to add that all this information can be a lot. It can be so overwhelming, especially when you just become aware that, of the programming, of the illusions, of how, we've been captured in so many different ways on so many different levels. The point of anchoring in the divine matrix is to be able to be compassionate with ourselves, to be able to realize that how we contributed to it, like you said, Wynn, how we contributed to this false reality, to this illusion, how we contributed to the miscreations of it all, and to forgive ourselves and love ourselves even more through it, and not push, run away or get angry and want to fight and scream and shout like a toddler. No, it is to show us the contrast. Now we have another option. Create something else for yourself. Really anchor in what the divine matrix mean. Go into your heart space and be the change that you want to see.
And that's why we say the chosen ones choose themselves.
Yes.
We'll end on that note. Thank you so much. And I love that you ended, Indigo, that reminder to have that unconditional love. Huge key. And like even what Kim was saying, the accountability, that combination of two, that makes you a powerhouse.
Oh, yeah.
That makes you a powerhouse. Accountability, awareness, and unconditional love, because no matter what, it's saying that, yeah, I effed up. We all F up. That's part of the programming of the matrix. But I'm going to love myself no matter what. And I do have the ability to make a change. Yes. I do have the ability to turn this all around. So the chosen ones choose themselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't feel afraid to go ahead and comment down below if this video resonated with you, or if any of the topics, any of the things that we spoke about during this video triggered anything for you, brought it up. Let us be there to support you, because that's what it's about. Unity consciousness. Let's share in the comment section below if you've experienced any of these things, any of these illusions, or if we brought anything to your awareness today in this podcast by sharing what the false matrix is, that it's just going to liberate and empower you from this point forward. So I encourage you to go ahead and comment down below. We love you so much. And don't forget about our resources that we have created for each and every one of you. Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yes. We have our 30-day divine detox in this description below. It's a free resource that we have cultivated to help you to detox during this time, to help you to get closer into anchoring the divine matrix, helping you to remove all that gunk that it's a residual of the false matrix, the false illusion, the false reality. That way you can be more clear, feel more clear and connected. And then we also have
Yes, we have our document of the 8 daily essentials. It's a practical guide that, to me, and what I feel every human being on this earth can do if they choose to, again, because it's all up to you. If you choose to, because you get to make it your own. Those 8 daily essentials that are essential, are necessary for us to growth. And again, they're most likely things you're doing anyway, or things that you feel like you need to do. Again, you get to make it your own way. Quickly, spirituality, yes, spiritual connection, nature, exercise, nourishment, cleaning, clearing, like Indigo said, that's what the 30-day divine detox does. That cleans and that clears you. Rest, integration. Come on now, we all got to rest. Play. We all got to play. A lot of us aren't even thinking about divine inner child play, tuning into our inner child, heart-based action, taking action, getting out of your comfort zone, even in the smallest ways. All of those things, learning, reading. Come on now, this whole podcast was all about that, the learning and learning more about ourselves. And like Kim was saying, like that more awareness, right, of self. All of those things, the 8 daily essentials, they are in the description box below. So check those out and let us know how you feel about it. So please stay tuned to our next episode. on the Golden Age Goddess podcast. We'll let you know, well, you'll find out later what our next topic will be about, but we are so excited and grateful to have you. And remind yourself that we're putting all this energy into helping you and supporting you all. If you resonate with this, please connect with us in the not the chat. What is it called? The comment section. Yes. Please connect with us in the comment section. Don't let me be in the comment section talking to myself, okay? Because I will be in that comment section talking to myself and my beautiful goddesses, okay? Yes. Join us in the comment section and let's chat if you resonate with this. And I know if you watch this all the way through or even halfway through, I'm sure this resonated and sunk in deeply for you all. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with your friends.
Yes. Thank you.
We love you so much. Thank you so much, goddesses.
See you later. Peace.
Welcome to the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. We stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. Listen to your heart and soul's call, and we will encourage you to be bold, audacious, and devoted. Kim, Indigo, and Wind, helping you win by healing deep within. Only way to the Golden Age. Like, share, and subscribe today.